Testing. Testing. Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. Finally. Oh, okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Just making sure. I was having trouble getting my microphone working, but I might have just accidentally been muting myself by accident. But okay, cool, 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 cool. So one thing I haven't accounted for is that trying to get the stream up on two different things actually has vastly increased my setup time. So sorry for starting a little late here, but I have to get ready for that. I do have both chats up right now. I don't have a great way to combine them. I was being told by Asian Pikachu that you can do so using Restream, but I'm not sure if that means you also have to restream on Restream to actually access that. I'm not sure if there's actually a good way to get it to read both chats easily, so we'll figure that out. But yeah, just in case you guys aren't aware, this is also now streaming on my YouTube channel. So one of the nice things about this is that if you prefer watching the whole thing at once, so that you have like the what do you call it, like the podcast form instead of all the videos being in little shorts, you obviously can do that by watching the archive. So if you go to my channel, if you go to youtube.com at UltraChenTV and click on the live tab, you'll see the past broadcasts. That wasn't my decision, man. Wasn't my decision. What's up, Dubidomo? What's going on? Glad to see you joining on the YouTubes over there. Hardest thing for me right now is I'm not sure, like, there's gonna be a lot of things I gotta figure out doing, working on both channels at the same time. Make sure I have all this up. So that's here. I can see the Twitch stream, Twitch chat over here, Twitch chat. I wonder if there's, well, because the problem with it is that one of the hard things is that, what happens if I do this? No, I can't even change it. One of the hardest things is that because the YouTube chat, I mean, actually, let me take a look at this. Is there a permanent link to your own YouTube channel live chat? Oh, I see. I also have to create, okay, so I can actually create, oh, okay. Can I actually create a, let me see. Oh, I see. So you can actually just do that /live. Okay. Let me try that really quick. So youtube.com/@UltraChenTV/live. Does that automatically take me to the channel? Looks like it does. And if I pop out the chat, however, what do I get? Nope. You get that stupid thing. And you can't edit it either. God, is there a way to get a permanent link to the chat? Okay, at least I know how to get to the YouTube live video every single time over here. So that's easy and that's convenient. However, I don't have a good way to get to the chat window. Well, I'll figure that out later on. Cause otherwise I'm gonna OCD and try to figure this out like right now, which I really don't need to do right now. Also, I am live on Twitch, right? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at all of our emotes on the Ultra Chen channel and make sure I move some of those over as well. So, NACL AQ, I actually, Salt AQ, I basically have been still doing this for a very, very long time. Like, when's the last time that you actually saw it? This is the first time I've actually streamed. It was Tuesday on the YouTube channel, but the YouTube videos are still going up. So they're still showing up and stuff. But like I said, this is the first time I've actually streamed here. So yeah, let's see here. Yeah, no, the dual streaming is very, very important, honestly. And as I've said, I created a post on the Ultra Chen TV channel that the Ultra Chen TV channel will be changing into the Jay Chenzor channel. So because my branding is all fucked up, because some people call me Ultra Chen, some people call me Jay Chenzor. A lot of people who watch the Ultra Chen stuff don't even know I have a Jay Chenzor Twitch channel, and so they don't follow that. And so like it's all just all over the place. So I need to merge all of it together. So if you're subbed to this channel on YouTube, don't worry, you'll stay subbed. But all of it is going to be changed to Jay Chenzor branding very, very soon, to make sure that, you know, everything is consistent. So, yeah, see, if you don't use Twitch, you're probably not gonna, well, I mean, I have it on my YouTube, you know, I post the episodes on YouTube, but if your algorithm isn't showing you our videos, you're not gonna see anything. So algorithm is algorithm, but that's why streaming live on YouTube is important, because hopefully if you watch my live streams on YouTube, that also prioritizes my stuff up to your, to the it prioritizes the Tuesday videos and whatever else I do to your homepage. So that's kind of the hopeful thing. So just want to make sure I've got this Twitch channel will basically go into hibernation. Yeah, Ultra Chen TV will basically stop streaming sooner or later, and everything will just be streamed on the Chenzor Dynasty channel. I have a ton of work, as you can see. All the assets here on the It Was Tuesday podcast are clearly still very Ultra Chen themed here. I don't know if I'm gonna go as far as to change the colors on everything to more match the Chenzor Dynasty, like green and yellow, green and red and yellow kind of look. But we'll see. But obviously everything on the bottom panel and the Ultra Chen logos are eventually gonna change to Ultra Chen, I'm sorry, Chenzor Dynasty logos and stuff like that. So, well, I mean, it's not even necessarily gonna be updating the updated logo is just gonna go away and get replaced by the Chenzor Dynasty logos, basically. So, for example, what I can do is Let's do this, and then into a D? No, I will not be doing that. I will not be doing that. I will definitely be more than happy just to do a pure Chenzor Dynasty branding over here. So, yeah. So, essentially, you know, eventually it's going to look more like this, right? So, yeah. Eventually, I'm going to try to get this logo in here. Okay, not that big, but, you know, I'm just trying to block the text here. But eventually, and I'm also thinking about, you know, maybe even tweaking this logo a little bit, but probably not. I just don't really have the time for it right now, so this will probably be best I can do at this point. So it'll look something like this in the future, essentially. Do it all now. I mean, I could. I could. And it would actually, if I did it on stream, that would probably help me, because that means I would actually like do it instead of ADHDing my way, you know, of not doing it. So, oh man. Yep. This week's Tuesday show. Oh dang, I'm a little okay. So I have to sit a little this way. Okay. All right. So yeah, this week's a Tuesday show. But yeah, I'm planning to do a lot of like rebranding and stuff like that. And like I said, all these, I'll probably change the colors of a lot of these things on this page to match more the Ultra Chen TV logo kind of thing. I'm sorry, the Chenzor Dynasty logo and stuff like that. So I could do like, so I could just do like, yoink, throw this here. And this would basically be, oh dang, that's annoying. Has that snap to grid thing. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Now, one of the things that, God, I mean, yeah, me and David, we always get our reunion at EVO for semifinals, which is always fun. But, you know, we haven't done like a lot of commentary with each other in a long time. A little bit is because, you know, David has taken a little bit of a backseat from commentary. Obviously, he still wants to keep doing it. But, you know, he's obviously focused on a lot of other things at this point in time. But yeah, so like this is like the main thing here is that hang on. Ooh, there we go. Let's see. Capcom Restream. Okay. Yeah, okay. That's what I want right there. Okay. So yeah, I mean, obviously when you look at this, you can see that the oh, hey, Sep and Go, you're new here. Why the name change? Because Ultra Chen TV was originally a collaboration by Ultra David and Jay Chenzor, aka me. Once we added Tasty Steve and Sajam to the mix, we decided that Ultra Chen TV was going to be the channel where we did all the collaborations. So we just called it UCTV. And then we would all stream on our own individual channels. So I spent a lot of time building up the Chenzor Dynasty for, you know, for my own channel and stuff like that. However, it didn't really pan out the way that we had expected because, well, one, Sajam and Tasty Steve ended up basically journeying out on their own. And eventually we brought in TuboWare. But then at some point, David had to leave the show due to conflict of interests for becoming Tenno's official lawyer. And then Tubo just decided to call it quits at that point in time. And so I was the only person left. And so what's weird now is that I stream on both Ultra Chen TV and on Jay Chenzor. My my Twitter is Jay Chenzor, but my Discord is Chenzor Dynasty, but the YouTube channel is Ultra Chen TV. So it's just a big mess, and a lot of people. Yeah, and Ultra David just streamed on this channel, even though he was supposed to stream on Ultra David, but he didn't. But a whole nother story. And so it's just been a whole mess. And a lot of people don't know that I had a Jay Chenzor channel. And sometimes the people on my Jay Chenzor channel didn't know I had an Ultra Chen TV channel. And then I was posting updates on both the Discord of Ultra Chen and on Chenzor. It was just basically a complete nightmare maintaining all of it at the same time. So I decided to I have to work on my branding this year. Splitting my brand across two different things as I feel like really hampered my ability to grow as a content creator and stuff like that. So I am trying to do a bunch of stuff to merge it all together. And because I've been Jay Chenzor my whole entire life, I'm definitely going to stick with the Jay Chenzor brand and the Chenzor Dynasty concept, right? So I am Jay Chenzor, just like Sajam is Sajam, but the community is the Chenzor Dynasty, like Sajam's community is the Hoop Squad, is essentially what's going to happen. And so I'm going to merge all this stuff together, and it's just going to be Jay Chenzor / Chenzor Dynasty. No, I just put that there. Like I literally just moved it onto there just as proof of concept. I'm actually going to change all of it because it still says Ultra Chen down there. One of the problems is that obviously now the color scheme is all messed up, right? So I'm probably also going to switch a lot of the colors on here because the red and blue was definitely an Ultra Chen TV thing because my favorite color was blue, David's was red, and so now we're actually going to change it so that it's more, it is more, what do you call it, themed to the Chenzor Dynasty stuff. So green and yellow is probably going to be the main thing. So, oh, cool, you have been using the channel. Yeah, so also, in case you guys don't know, and I should mention this on the video itself, but my Discord is completely redone. I don't have the Discord link on the Ultra Chen TV channel here. See, more reasons why I should do different things. So let me just copy and paste the Discord link in here for you guys right now. I'm going to create a temporary invite. I'll recreate a permanent invite a little bit later. But I'm really hoping what I'm trying to do is build a community for for players to get to know each other and hang out and really try to promote playing with strangers who I hopefully can become your friends, and also even playing and letting people just hang out and watch you play. Like literally just watch you play and just like cheer you on and offer advice and stuff like that. So if you head to that, the Chenzor Dynasty has really been revamped, very reorganized. And I keep adding more stuff. So right now I'm super ADHDing on so ADHD, OCD is all kind of the same thing, part and parcel of the same thing. But I'm definitely OCDing on the Discord because I have just been constantly like permissions, do this, change this, move this channel. Okay, how should I do this? Rewrite though, please read me. So like I've been kind of going crazy on it. So. So Salt AQ, and what's up, Samurai Beeves? Hello, welcome to the YouTube channel. What I will say right now is, no, I haven't seen the ACA2 Neo Geo announcement, but what I will say to Salt AQ, again, David has always been a lawyer. He basically became the official lawyer for 10-0, and 10-0 is, of course, the company that, used to stream Evo. They still do the Tekken World Tour. They do. I know they do a lot of the Nintendo stuff for Splatoon and for Mario Kart, etc., etc. So he's become their official lawyer. So he can't be on this show being like, I really hate Samurai Showdown, and then go and run the SNK World Championships, right? Like, it's complete conflict of interest. And David felt if he couldn't express himself, honestly, he'd rather just not be on the show at this point. So, so yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you, John the Automaton. Yeah, again, I'm hoping I can really create something very nice with this Chenzor Dynasty Discord. I'm really, really hoping I can do something nice. And actually, you know what? I wonder if I should put the announcement stuff above welcome. I don't know. It's weird. See, this is what I mean. Like, I can't stop OCDing about this Discord. Like, I'm trying to arrange it, but there's like so many channels. I'm worried that there's too many channels, and and all I want to do is add more channels. So you guys, I mean, obviously there's a suggestions channel. So if you guys are feeling like there's too many channels or anything like that, please let me know. Please let me know. What's up, Diogo Vicente or Vicente? I'm not sure which way it is. But hello, welcome to the first time it was Tuesday has been actually live broadcast on YouTube at JChenzor. I haven't put out all the socials yet, so let me do that really quick here to make sure that people know I am alive and running. To discuss the Street Fighter League US Finals from this past weekend. Let's do this. Now streaming on 2 sites. Both links in the next tweet. And then let me add the photo. There we go. Add this, and I can do Twitch, which is, twitch.tv/jchenzor, YouTube, which is youtube.com/ no, this is still on UltraChen TV, at UltraChen TV/live. There we go. So we can do that. Yes. So let's post all. Boom. And then scroll up to the top, find my own tweet, copy the link, come to my Discord and announce this at here. Let's do this. There we go. And then edit. And then type in both links. I'm going to have to find a shortcut to make this part a little bit easier. Okay, and then youtube.com at UltraChen TV/live. There you go. All right, so that's the socials up. I haven't put it on Blue Sky yet. Dude, for those of you who have never done influencer content creation, etc., it's a lot of freaking work to do all this stuff. No, that's not where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go here. I'm trying to do new post, paste. But here I can do this. Twitch.tv/UltraChen TV, and then youtube.com. Whoops. YouTube colon https youtube.com / at ultra chen tv / live post, and voila, there we go. That should be up there now. There we go. Did I type that right? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. Oh yeah. Adam Dietz. I should definitely talk about that a little bit. So Samuel Dietz is the main guy working on the Castlevania and working on that company. But Adam Dietz, his brother, helps with him a lot. Adam Dietz has been in the FGC forever, pre-2009. I mean, this guy is one of the truer OG players. Adam Dietz, who went by the name of Camwy. And he was always partnered up with Mopreme, Mark R, and they used to make combo videos together. But at the same time, Camwy and Mopreme were both excellent, like Third Strike players. They would, in fact, I have a Texas Showdown DVD from way before, 2009, way before Street Fighter 4, and I believe it's either Mopreme or Camwy that's in the top 8, but they're both extremely solid players, and he eventually went on to do the Castlevania thing. So I knew him first from the FGC, and when I saw his name on the Castlevania thing, I was like, what? And so a lot of people are kind of going the opposite now. They're seeing, they follow Adam Dietz for the Castlevania thing, and he just posted up a really goofy rock combo in Children of the Wolves, and they were like, what? This guy plays fighting games, Oh, have a good night, Dubu Dumbo. Have a good night. Yeah, the Castlevania show is really, really good. I haven't seen the new one yet, the one with Richter. I think I've seen 2 episodes, and I just haven't kept going. Because I've gotten distracted by watching a bunch of other things. So yeah, I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one yet. So I've heard it's really good. I've heard season 2 is really, really strong. Oh yeah. Well, see, there you go. Wobot says it's same thing. Season 1 a little weak, but season 2 is crazy good. Yeah, that's basically what I've heard from almost everybody. So I'm definitely gonna get back into that at some point in time. Yeah, I've heard global match, KOF 13 global match is not working particularly well. I have heard lots of different reasons. Some people have said that it's because the matchmaking is bad or the netcode is bad, and both. So essentially the net play is not working particularly well, which sucks again because most of their re-releases have been doing well, but that was when... I keep calling them Crystal Dynamics, but they're not Crystal Dynamics. What the hell is that company named? The one that got really good at all of their Code Mystics. There you go. I mean, again, you can see why I get them mixed up all the time, because the second word has the Y as the second letter, the first word has the C, and so, again, my brain associates, it doesn't remember words the same way that everybody else does. But... yeah, so Code Mystics was really good, but they did a bunch of the super old retro ones. I think KOF 13 Global Match is actually done directly by SNK, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think that's a Code Mystics project. But as a result, we're in a situation here where it's not working. So I know a lot of people are mad about that, and it's scary because this is what, Samurai Showdown Network was a disaster. In fact, never even finished a bunch of features, and then KOF 15 didn't get its matchmaking fixed for over a year. And then dude, trust me, I typed Children of the Wolves again in my titles down here. I typed it and I was like, it's not that long. There's a shorter word. It's city. So I changed it to city. But then, if 13 doesn't work, and now the beta for City of the Wolves, I did get it right. City of the Wolves is also having trouble with its net play. This is not a good sign. This is not a good sign, and I'll talk a lot more about that once I get over here. I'm just doing the pre-show talk right now, kind of giving it time to make sure everything doesn't blow up as I am streaming to do different channels. So if you are watching this on YouTube for the first time, you have to be, because I've never done this on YouTube. This is the stream that I would stream on twitch.tv / UltraChen TV all the time. And if oh god, I just ADHD. You know what? Like, this is what I was looking at my little ruler here, you know, just like the tape measure over here, and I looked at it and I was like, oh, like, it almost kind of looks like a smiley, right? Like, that could be the teeth. Like, I was thinking, what if I held it in front of my mouth and pretended it was a smile, and it just made me completely forget what I was talking about. I mean, seriously, clueless Snickers moment right there, except Cher actually went back to what she was talking about, and I have no idea what I was talking about here. Oh yeah, that's right. If you're watching this on YouTube, I've been streaming it on twitch.tv / UltraChen TV for the longest of time. I've never live streamed to this channel, so currently it is actually being streamed on both twitch.tv / UltraChen TV as well as youtube.com / @UltraChen TV. Now, just as a warning to everybody, all of that is going to be changed to Jay Chenzor pretty soon. So it will be this channel here on YouTube. You don't have to resubscribe or refollow or do anything like that. I'm just renaming this channel to Jay Chenzor. The Twitch channel, however, I do have an UltraChen TV and I have a Jay Chenzor channel. So I will be essentially sunsetting the UltraChen TV Twitch channel, and everything will just move to the Jay Chenzor channel. So it's going to be kind of confusing. Yeah, I mean, again, Marmello, Marmeladic Contour. Raconteur. Okay, Marmeladic Raconteur. That is a name. Marmeladic Raconteur says, Mr. Chen, sir, I don't know if you already addressed this, but today is Friday, not Tuesday. So I didn't do one on Tuesday because the morning it just ended up like all sorts of crazy things happening, and I was just like, I can't do the show today. So I decided to postpone it. Yesterday, oh, what's up? Virgil must live. Virgil must live. And thank you for, I mean, this is great because, again, on the YouTube channel, I'm getting a lot of viewers here that I have not had watch this live before. So it is kind of exciting to get a lot more viewers over here. What the hell? Okay, there we go. So it's exciting to have that. I don't know how you see the number. Oh, I see. There it is. 37 watching right now. Cool. Okay. Dude, I do that all the time, Raconteur. Like, I always like look at names, and I'm really like obsessed with usernames. And so whenever I see them, I try to read them and actually figure out what they're supposed to mean. Like, somebody on Twitch posts as Pony314. So I was like, Pony314, oh, Pony Pie, got it. You're Pony Pie. You know, I always do this because I'm just like obsessed with it. Like, I like, my brain has to know. It has to know. But yeah, I will be streaming all the time on YouTube as well. And what's great about that as well is that, you know, I have a new editor, and we've been putting out a lot of my streams in chunks, right? Like in pieces, and people are like, I missed it when it was all one big episode, because then I could just put it on, watch it, and have it on in the background while I do work or something like that. Well, the cool thing about that is that now you can do that again, because now on the youtube.com / UltraChen TV page, if you click on the live tab, you can find the old broadcasts there. And if you see the old broadcast, you can actually just watch that instead. So is really, really cool. I just ADHD'd. I mean, dude, so it was really only recently that I pretty much determined I had ADHD. And since getting diagnosed and understanding that I have ADHD, et cetera, like, God, my life has been so much like a little easier because now instead of procrastinating and ADHDing my way through life and getting mad at myself for not doing stuff, I'm like, it's the ADHD. So I've had to figure out ways to fix things. And so like one of the things I've been absolutely one of the worst at is cleaning my cat's litter boxes. Oh, right. So paintbrushes, exactly, dude. Like it's a game changer. So I was really bad at cleaning my cat's litter boxes. Like I always was like, should I do it at night before I sleep or in the morning and all this stuff. And like, I never would do it. But now what I've done is I've intentionally attached it to my morning routine, because I have a morning routine, and you know, you don't forget the things that you morning routine: brush your teeth, floss, you know, feed the cats, get my meds ready to go, refill my CPAP water for the humidity, stuff like that. Like you can you create these routines for yourself. And I've also allowed myself, because what happens a lot of times is when you say you can't miss it, you gotta do it every day. This is what you do when you don't have ADHD, and then you forget to do it one day, or you're like, oh, I'm gonna skip today, and then it starts getting guilty, and it feels like it starts piling up, and then it's like the gym, like I'll go tomorrow, I'll go next week, I'll go next week, I'll go a month later, and then it just dies, right? But if you turn it into a part of the routine, if you miss it one day, it just slides kind of right back in the next day. So I've been actually very good about cleaning my cat's litter boxes recently, because I've had to, you know, kind of turn it into a routine kind of thing. And it's like, it's so, your wife was like, oh, that explains it. Yeah. Dude, my ex-girlfriend from high school, from like high school / post high school, I mentioned I had ADHD on Facebook, and she was like, yeah, I can see that, you know, and I haven't talked to her in like years, and she was like, no, that makes sense. So, I mean, from her point of view, even way back then, she could see the sign, like she can now associate the signs of my ADHD with how I behaved long ago, you know. What's the purpose of getting diagnosed? Salt AQ, it's so you can get meds. That is also a thing that helps a lot. The meds help a lot. So I am on Adderall, for example, and I only started that last year. And it hasn't been quite as life-changing as it has been for other people, but I expected that. So a lot of people who say when they go on it, they're like, oh my gosh, like what the hell? Life is just different. And yeah, and when it does work that way, it's not a conscious thing. Like you don't take Adderall and all of a sudden you're like, you know what? Now I have the power to do stuff. Basically what happens is like, you know, I should wash the dishes, and then you're just washing the dishes. There's no conscious thought. Like, there's no, like, now I have the strength to wash the dishes. It's just like, I should wash the dishes. And then you just walk over and you start washing it. And then while I'm washing the dishes, I'm like, what the hell? Like, what? I did it? I'm doing it? You know, it's crazy. But for me, even my psychiatrist who was diagnosing me was like, you don't show a lot of the typical signs of someone being ADHD. But if your executive dysfunction is so strong, and so they give you a bunch of cognitive tests, like, you know, like, oh, I'm going to say all these words, memorize them, or here's a bunch of shapes. Which of these shapes can form this combined shape, or react to this in time through audio or through visual, you know, stuff like that. And he said I basically scored like in the 99th percentile of everything. So he was like, your brain is like really, really strong. There's no way you should be scoring average on your ADHD test. So if everything was average, okay, but like everything is way up here and your ADHD scores are down here. So he was like, relatively speaking, yeah, that probably means you have ADHD. So he then So again, the person who gives you the test cannot prescribe you the pills for these kind of things, because they're trying to stop people from going, yes, you have ADHD, pills, you have ADHD, pills, so they can do a proper objective assessment. And then since then, I've just been working with a different group to actually prescribe me the pills. And on the days that I actually get really good sleep, yeah, the Adderall makes a huge difference. Huge difference. And the crazy thing too about that raconteur is that not only that, but just being aware of the concept of ADHD and OCD and understanding it better. It's only been the past few years that I even realized my mom is massive OCD. Like I always thought I got my OCD from my dad, because my dad was always organized, like be neat and all this stuff like that. But I think my dad is just a neat freak. My mom is actually legit OCD. And ever since I realized that my mom is OCD, I have had a lot easier time talking with her, understanding where she comes from when she does things that used to make me angry. Like she would be like, do this, and I'm like, give me time, right? But then I'm like, oh, my mom has OCD, so the longer this isn't getting done, this isn't getting taken care of, the more it's triggering her OCD. I get it. And so like now I feel like my relationship with my mom has, I mean, it's always been good, but I used to get mad at her a lot because she would just do things that just drove me crazy, as parents do. But now that I understand, because you don't think of your parents as people with, flaws like that and stuff, right? Especially if you did have great parents. My parents were great parents. But at the same time, my mom would do these things that just drove me nuts. And now, like, they don't even make me mad anymore because I totally understand it. So I'm not sure why Adderall is considered illegal in Europe. I don't know if that's actually, is that true? So, I mean, Adderall, obviously kind of heightens your senses a little bit. I know it's banned in a lot of esports stuff, but I don't think it's as big of a, well, I mean, for me, it probably makes me feel normal. I haven't played a lot online recently, because I've been working on a bunch of stuff at the end of last year. I just spent the last fourth of the year being extremely depressed. But now I'm just trying to work on all this branding stuff here. I will be eventually getting back to playing online, hopefully, if I can just get myself to do it. It's just, I just hate ranked is the problem, but I want to play ranked because I want to see how many characters I can get to master, because that will also help me research characters and get better knowledge about them so I can commentate even stronger, and have more very character specific, analysis kind of things like that. So I do plan on getting back into that. And I'm so busy doing all this other stuff here. So Adderall isn't banned in the UK, but can only be obtained through a prescription. Yeah, same here. So, so I was having trouble sleeping. My psychiatrist said that the Adderall can definitely hurt your sleep, especially because I take extended release Adderall. So I take extended release Adderall. So even though when I took it at lunch at like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, because that's when I eat lunch, it would still affect me by the end of the night. So he told me now, take it in the morning. So whenever I wake up, I have an alarm set to like 10 a.m. to wake me up. And then I take the pills and go back to sleep. That doesn't work like 60% of the time. Like I'm just like, "Ugh!" And then that's it, it's gone. But I do try to take it when I wake up. Sometimes that is still a little too late, but my psychiatrist then also prescribed me a different antidepressant, which has a very strong sleep-inducing side effect. And that shit is magic, dude. Like, I can't even, oh, this is amazing to experience live. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear. Because, yeah, I mean, when you watch all the clips on YouTube, you don't see this part. This part never makes it on where I'm just like hanging out with people. But this thing that trazodone is what I'm taking now at night. And this shit is mad. I have never taken anything that has so consistently actually just made me sleepy. I have taken all sorts of sleep aids before, but I'm always terrified of them because, you know, there's horror stories about, you know, things like Zoloft and Lunesta. And what's the main one again? What's the main sleep aid one? Because I took that one time and yeah, that shit is dangerous. I forgot which one it was. Not Zoloft, because Zoloft is an antidepressant. Not NyQuil, because NyQuil is not addictive or anything like that. Ambien, thank you. I was taking Ambien one time, and let me tell you, something, okay? This was when SRK was still around, right? And I took the Ambien, and, you know, this was, at one point in time, I started sitting on a medicine ball when using my computer to engage your core, you know, so I was sitting there, but I took an Ambien to go to sleep. And then I decided to go to SRK while it was kicking in. So I'm sitting on this medicine ball, and literally at one point in time, I like fell over and kicked the keyboard and all this stuff like that. I was like, whoa. And then like, I was like responding to people, and I finally went to sleep. And the next morning, I woke up and people were like, "Are you okay, James?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I looked at the posts that I wrote. Like, one of my posts on SRK was like, "Dude, your profile pic is so crazy. It looks like it's all colorful and like shiny, and it's all doing all this weird shit. Like, I'm on Ambien right now, but it's looking crazy." And like, I didn't remember typing any of that. I didn't remember typing any of that. And I was just like, oh my God. So I never actually took it again after that. I did take Lunesta, and Lunesta worked very well, but Lunesta has a terrible, terrible side effect for some people, not everybody. So I took Lunesta, I fell asleep really fast, I woke up, I didn't feel groggy, and then everything tasted like you were licking a metal pole. Like, you're literally licking a metal pole, and it's disgusting. You drink water. Water tastes like you're licking a metal pole. And the first time I took it, I was like, I didn't know that that was a side effect, and I was just eating everything. It's like, why does everything taste so bad? And then I was like, wait a second, and I looked it up, and it's a side effect of Lunesta on certain people. And so I was like, what the hell? So I stopped taking that too. It's disgusting, dude. I can't even explain to you. Like, you can't even drink water anymore because it's so gross. Oh, one of your dad's heart meds does that? Ugh, gross. So yeah, how did we even get on this topic? But yeah, have I seen Captain America Brave New World? I have. Is anybody here still planning to see it? And please no spoilers, or does anybody not care about spoilers? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Let me know. I can't believe James installed Street Fighter Cross Tekken while on Ambien. Oh God. Oh my God. Well, again, that's the tricky things about medicine, right? Is that a lot of people, like my mom, is of that nature. Like, I tried it didn't work, so I stopped. I tried it made me feel bad. It didn't work, so I stopped. And I'm like, you can't stop after like 2 tries, right? You gotta take it for a while. It takes a while before it finally kicks in. And when it does, that's why the trazodone was so amazing, because it just worked right away. But I mean, the thing is, even if it doesn't work, that's because everybody reacts to everything differently, right? So the antidepressants that I take, which is essentially the generics for Effexor, they worked for me. But a lot of people, if they take it, it might not do anything for them, right? So you would have to try something else. It's not that simple, right? And that's the thing, is that's the hardest thing about medicine, is that every human being is so vastly different that there's really literally no way to have a like easy way to fix everything. And yeah, that is like, maybe some people will argue about like vaccines and stuff like that. But again, that's a completely different thing. We're talking about brain chemistry here. Nobody even really understands how the brain works. So you got to try a bunch of different stuff, right? But for vaccines, I mean, again, sorry if you don't believe in vaccines or whatever, but they're proven to work. And everyone's like, well, if they work, why don't we run tests? Because we have. And all the tests for like measles vaccines and stuff like that have never shown any connection to autism. So get your damn vaccines, okay? First time, a few times you took trazodone, you fainted. Yeah, that's, like I said, that stuff puts me to sleep so fast. But for me, it's actually a sleepiness. Like, it didn't knock me out like that. So yeah, you probably just had a lot of, does meds improve my Street Fighter play? I don't know yet. I don't know yet, because even after taking it, I have not, I didn't even see the Best of V show rated. Okay, hey, what's up, Elon? I actually saw you type earlier, but I didn't realize the box was because it counts for rating, was for that, so. Trazodone is fought over in jail? Is it because it helps put people to sleep? I mean, that makes sense to me, right? That absolutely makes sense to me. Okay. If you are, let's do this. So what we're gonna do is this. If you do not want to know about any spoilers, please mute the chat for now, or mute me, or maybe even look away for a little bit. I'll try not to spend too much time on it, but when I'm done, I will delete this message here. So, your partner's about to get her PhD in brain-related science, and we truly know nothing about her brains. Yeah, I tell people that all the time, Elon. Like, I'm always just like, you can't, like, people are like, oh, my blood pressure's high. Do you have meds for that? My cholesterol is high. Do you have meds for that? You know, oh, this thing hurts. Do you have anything that I can take? Oh, my stomach is in pain. Get me some Pepto-Bismol. I have a headache. Let me take some Tylenol. You know, your brain might be a little fucked up. Nah, man. Human mind over matter, man. You should, if you take stuff for your brain, you're nuts, you're crazy. And as I've said to everybody, your brain is the most complicated thing in your body, and to think that everyone's brain actually works like, when every other part of our body like fail, people are born allergic to water, you know, like that's happened before. So like to actually think, oh, sleeping makes, yeah, no, that makes sense, Michael Slaughter, that makes sense. So a lot of people, you know, who are like, no, like my mom used to believe that way. Like, no, I can't see a psychiatrist. I can't take medicines because that means you're crazy. And I'm like, anybody who sits here and thinks that their brain works is really brave. I mean, it's like, it's really like, no. But we'll get back to that in a second. I've given enough time for people to leave the Brave New World discussion here. Just to establish stuff first, I really enjoy the MCU. I really like the MCU, okay? I have a very strong soft spot for the MCU. I really liked Brave New World, especially because I haven't, even as much as I like the MCU, I'm kind of tired of the multiverse and all the paths that it's been taking. Marvel has decided to go into the realm of nonsense more often recently, right? Even when it wasn't multiverses, we had Ant-Man Quantumania, which they decided to go to the, oh God, what the hell was that place called? The negative realm, the quantum realm. They went to the quantum realm, and it was just Star Wars, right? Like, they made the quantum realm Star Wars. Like, it didn't even feel like there was a lot of thought, like, okay, what would a realm that's shrunken that far down be like? No, they just went down there, and it was just a regular old world, but, like, it was Star Wars, an alien world. Like, it could have been a Captain Marvel movie, right? And then, as much as I liked Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, but obviously craziness, multiverse, all this stuff like that. And so one of the things that I've been saying that I feel like the MCU has been missing is the groundedness. Because every time I watch Civil War or Winter Soldier and stuff like that again, even Iron Man films and stuff like that, it's very grounded. And one of the things that MCU was really cool starting off with was, hey, this is the superhero stuff, but in a real world. And they used Guardians of the Galaxy to introduce space, right? So instead of okay, now let's transition to space, they took one property that was just about outer space and was like, bam, we're just gonna throw this at you, make it its own self-contained thing. And so it was less jarring that way. And then people enjoyed it, and then little by little, they were able to merge everything together by the time they got to Infinity War, right? Then they kind of merged space and the groundedness together. But since then, and since Endgame, like, it's just kind of gone, like, crazy, right? Like, it's literally kind of gone off the rails in a way, in terms of now it's all comic book again. Like, as much as a lot of people enjoy MCU early stuff as being comic book movies, they really were painted as comic book movies and how they would exist in the real world. And I really enjoyed that kind of aspect of it. And Brave New World, and it looks like the Thunderbolts, obviously, except for the villain is crazy, but, like, they seem to be returning a little bit more to the grounded level thing. And I really felt like that was missing. I felt like that was one of the reasons why a lot of people were starting to dislike the MCU, is because now it just feels like they're making shit up, right? But, like, when it was like, everybody says Winter Soldier is one of their favorite movies of the MCU. And for me, like, I love Winter Soldier. I think it's great. I only just don't like the last act. Because that's when it got a little too video gamey, like, go to the ships, put the thing in before the time runs out, like, it got a little too video game, but literally everything up to that point is so good. It's like, I mean, I can watch, like, the entirety of Winter Soldier up to that point, like, over and over and over again. I'll never get sick of it. But that's because a lot of it was real world intrigue and stuff like that. And, it was grounded and it made sense and all these things. And it was just, it's so good. And so I'm really happy that Brave New World kind of went back to that. Fantastic Four is going to be interesting because it's going to start in a multiverse, I've heard. Yeah, Jonathan Majors, the Kang thing is so frustrating. Because I'm personally still not even sure if he's really guilty of anything, so it's just a weird situation, and it sucks, but to be honest with you, like, it didn't feel like that storyline was really going anywhere properly, and that was the problem with Phase 4, is that none of them tied to each other. Like, I kept waiting for the end of every Phase 4 movie to have something that, like, this is why we did this episode. This is why we did this one, is because it's setting up this. But every time it just didn't work. They just kept setting up more loose ends. Hi, I'm Thanos' brother. Hey, I'm Beast. Hey, but nothing like, oh, hey, I'm Charlize Theron. Come follow me. Like, what? What's happening here, right? Like, so there's just a lot of, like, craziness. It's just like, it's just like, right, yeah. So the multiverse of madness, yeah, like, it's just like, oh, we need the book, but then what, so it's all been just kind of crazy. So wait, what did I ruin? What did I not what did I make it so that you can unsee? Apologize. So I was really happy that Brave New World went back to politics real world, like the Isaiah Tom, and the other thing that I really liked about it is it finally paid off everything from the Hulk. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't care about spoilers, Brave New World is like half sequel to Captain America, half sequel to the Incredible Hulk, half sequel to Edward Norton's The Incredible Hulk. And so I was appreciative of that because goddamn, there was a lot of stuff like let go in that and nobody talked about, et cetera, et cetera. And so I was really glad that we got to close off some of those threads as well. But I just liked having the whole thing kind of put together. So yeah, Hercules, right, in Thor Love and Thunder. Oh, so Thor Love and Thunder and Quantumania were like two of the MCU movies. As much as I love MCU, those two movies definitely did not they did not work for me. Yeah, Blade has a line at the end of Eternals, and you're like, what? And you know, the guy, you know, was supposed to be Black Knight or something like that. It's just like, it's all crazy. So it's just kind of a crazy kind of thing. Say what, John the Automaton? What was I going? Like, I'm like, my brain, it jumps around too much and stuff like that. So yeah, oh, that's right. This is what I wanted to say. I know this is what I wanted to say here. There's only one thing about Brave New World that I was extremely, extremely disappointed in, okay? So, in the scene where Harrison Ford, Thunderbolt Ross, is working out on the exercise bike on Air Force One, you know, his assistant, his aide comes in there and starts talking to him, right? I am really, really sad that, you know, the scene didn't end with the lady, with the aide, like making fun of him, like, you know, you better keep exercising because if you don't, you're gonna be dropping anytime soon. And I really wanted Harrison Ford to respond with, "Get off my plane." Because that would have been so amazing. I would have died if they did that. I felt like that was such a missed opportunity. I felt like that was such a missed opportunity. Yeah, so there was the Ang Lee Hulk, and then there was the Edward Norton Hulk. So there's Eric Bana and Edward Norton. I don't remember which one is from what year. But I'm talking about a sequel to the Edward Norton one. The Ang Lee one is erased from canon. So, so Eric Bana is the 2003 one. Edward Norton is 2008. Is the 2008 one. Yeah, I mean, the funny thing about it, Natakan, and I mean, this is not an indication of the state of Marvel. It's an indication of the state of the VFX industry. But the Hulk CG in The Incredible Hulk is really good. Like, I swear it looks better than most CG from movies and shows today. Like, Hulk clearly looked a lot better than She-Hulk looked in the series, and again, I like the She-Hulk series a lot. I really liked the She-Hulk series, but like, again, this is more a state of the VFX industry because that whole industry is just like they're getting the short end of the stick so badly right now. I mean, I talked to Gerald Abraham, you know, owner of the Okamoto Kitchen Truck, aka LA Akira. I mean, his job before was doing VFX. He would do VFX for a lot of companies. And you talk to him about it, and it's just the VFX companies are, you know, basically they find the lowest bidder. Like, we can do it for this much, and it's really cheap and it's not very good. I haven't seen Life of Pi, speaking of Ang Lee, but I know that people were super impressed with the CG Tiger on the boat the entire time, right? And so like it was great. And literally at the Oscars for the VFX category, they won the Oscar for VFX. And when they walked up to accept it, they were already all out of a job. The company that actually was hired to do the VFX for the Tiger, after they finished Life of Pi, the entire studio shuttered and folded because they were worked too hard, they worked over hours, and they weren't getting paid enough. And so it just basically died. So while they were accepting their Oscar, they were already trying to find work somewhere else. Jaws theme. Yeah, so I really enjoyed She-Hulk, honestly, Virgil Mislip. But that's all I'm going to say about Brave New World, so I can let everybody else back in here. So no more spoilers on that one. But I really enjoyed She-Hulk because Olaf, my tenant, is a massive, massive She-Hulk fan. And so even before the She-Hulk show came up, he had been telling me all about how this character works and all this stuff like that. And so by the time the show came out, I kind of knew what to expect. I understood how She-Hulk, whoa, I'm getting blurry. Camera, there we go. I already knew all about, you know, the fourth wall breaking and how she behaves in the comics. And because he was such a fan and we watched it together, like, he was able to confirm, yeah, that the vibe was very, very accurate. Very accurate. So, and I thought it was hilarious and I enjoyed it. And I wouldn't have minded if the show kept going just as a funny, like, sitcom, like episodic sitcom. Like, I don't think it had to be anything. I liked the fact that it was like, oh, here's a Wong episode. Oh, here's a, you know, a Daredevil episode. Oh, here's a, you know, and I think that would have been a funny thing to keep going with that. Like, it would have been funny to have, like, here's the trial for the Vulture, you know, kind of things like that. I think it would have been great, to be honest, if they were able to keep it going that way. But obviously the hard part is that it's expensive because She-Hulk is CG. But one of the funny things, like, I mean, just a lot of, like, little interesting references when they're walking through the law offices. There's actually one room with nothing but comics in it. Like, you could actually walk, they walk by a room, and if you look inside that room, there's nothing but comic books, like, laid out, like, at a comic book shop. And Mike explained to me, aka Olaf explained to me, that in the Marvel Universe, comics can be used as evidence in, like, courts and stuff like that. And their explanation is that after the characters do something crazy, they get, like, some artist, like, draws it as, like, a comic book to, like, document the heroics. And so they actually collect the existing Marvel comics and can be used in a court of law. So they even slipped that in there just as, like, a little kind of a joke and stuff like that. So, well, so the guest room has been squared away for a long time. That hasn't been the problem, Netacon. The problem is that I spent, like, 20 to 30K fixing that room when the city said they were going to reimburse me, and they have not. Still. So, I'm still, it's not resolved yet. So, no, the channel is not an Ultraman reference, Saint Butters. What it actually is that this was a collaborative channel between myself, Jay Chenzor, and Ultra David. So we combined our names to be Ultra Chen because when we first started doing commentary, people were like, you guys are like the Tasteless and Artosis of, you know, of fighting games. And, you know, Tasteless and Artosis called themselves Tastosis, right? So they combined their names. We're like, all right, let's combine our names. We're Ultra Chen now. And so we became Ultra Chen. And since then, you know, that's what this channel's always been. But I've always been Jay Chenzo. He's always been Ultra David. And Ultra David has since had to leave, you know, Ultra Chen TV. So it's just been me by myself. So as a lot of people have heard already, and I've talked about in various places, all of Ultra Chen references to Ultra Chen will be going away pretty soon, and everything will be converted to Jay Chenzor. If you're watching this here on YouTube, you don't have to do anything. Just understand that the channel is going to change to Chenzor Dynasty, J Chenzor stuff. So if you're like, wait a second, what is this? It's the same channel, just branded differently and given a different URL. Same thing here on Twitch, twitch.tv/UltraChenTV will essentially be shuttered and go to sleep. And I'll keep it around because I just don't want people jumping in and taking the name. So I will only be streaming on twitch.tv/JChenzor in the future. I remember single side back in college when y'all started the stream. Dang, back in college. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was fun. I really enjoyed it, honestly. So what do you mean by what made the Deadpool and Wolverine story? The Deadpool versus Wolverine. What do you mean by what made it? I'm not sure what that means exactly, so... Whew. In any case, I've been kind of hanging out and chatting for an hour here already. So an hour and 15 minutes, actually. So I'll switch over to the actual topics at this point. Before I do that, any last questions or anything, speak now, forever hold your peace. But again, just as a reminder, a lot of branding changes will be coming soon. So anyways, God, I wonder. No, people would rather have it all in one anyway. Okay. Do I fan events? I mean, if you mean that I walk around doing this everywhere I go, no, I don't do this. I mean, RDJ Dr. Doom, I don't... I just spilled water everywhere. Hang on a second. This is why Maya is scary. Hang on a second. I think it's weird. I don't really like it as like a stunt. I understand it because, you know, obviously Robert Downey Jr. loves Marvel and is so thankful for Marvel because it literally, you know, he was a great actor early on, right? Like people talked about him all the time. He was in Chaplin. He got nominated for an Oscar for his role as Charlie Chaplin. He was also a heartthrob. He was in a romantic comedy with Marissa Tomei, even before he hit on Aunt May, in a romantic comedy called Only You, which was funny because seeing him kind of hit on Aunt May made it so that it was like almost a callback. I understand that he would love to come back. I think it would work if, one, they don't... So one of two ways. They can go one of two ways. There are a lot of what-if Marvel storylines where, you know, Tony Stark is the one who became Doctor Doom, you know, and if there's like some sort of tie-in with that, like a multiverse Doctor Doom that was Tony Stark became Doctor Doom, that could kind of work. Or they just have him play Doctor Doom, but like he actually does some brilliant acting to not sound or act anything like Tony Stark. Maybe even shave his mustache and stuff like that, give him a different hairstyle. And he just plays Doctor Doom, but he isn't like Tony Stark or anything like that. I think that would work for me. Are we getting a reveal at Capcom Cup? I mean, I hope we get a Elena trailer. I hope we get to see the first stuff with Elena. Right, so if they just had a mask on the whole time and just a modulator on his voice, like, I think that would be fine. Like, I wouldn't mind. Like, if we don't ever see human Doctor Doom, like, that's great. Like, I think that would be a good way to do it, honestly. Right, yeah, and, you know, so that's why a lot of people didn't like the first Judge Dredd movie because Stallone kept taking off the mask. But that's why a lot of people who liked the second one because, was it Carl Urban, I think it is, didn't, right? Or whoever it was that played him. I don't remember now. In any case, who do I think is winning Capcom Cup? Save that for tomorrow, okay? Yeah, it would be Elena teaser first and then gameplay trailers later, but I hope not. I hope not, to be honest with you. I hope we actually get more than that, because a lot of the teasers that we've been getting, like at Evo and stuff like that, have been great, but like kind of underwhelming. Like I want to know more. I want to know more, kind of thing. So like, I mean, if they actually reveal the season 3, and keep in mind, you have to reveal your entire DLC now because of the Steam rules now. So like Capcom Cup would also be a good time just to reveal everybody who's going to be in season 3. Because I mean, where else are you going to announce that, right? But then again, Elena comes out like in April, and so like they could even wait till Evo Japan or even Evo Worlds to do it, because then let's say April, and then May, June, July, August, you just wait till August, and then you reveal your season 3, and they say first character out tomorrow, kind of thing like that. So yeah, so Tekken 8 is keeping the rest of the DLC secret, but I don't know if there's a rule that if you did it beforehand, like you're grandfathered in so you don't have to reveal everything, or if Tekken is just breaking the rules because, I don't know. Okay, all right, let's do this. Let's actually get into the show here. Let's get into the show. And hello, KJ City Fishy. And what's up, Comrade Tyrone? Okay. No, they actually said it's not just list how much the DLC they have. They actually have to list what's in it, because they don't want people to get bait and switched anymore. So you can't just be like, there's only this many items and that's it. I think they have to list what's literally in it at this point. So can you buy the season pass on Steam right now? I think. Oh, maybe not yet. Yeah, that might be true, actually, Super Mecha Kupo, until they actually put it out there. Maybe. So Dracula, Dimitri. Oh, yeah. Here, let me change the camera angle for you guys really quick here. Oops. This is what I want. There we go. So yeah, there's a Dimitri Dracula. There's actually the Frankenstein one, and then yeah, Mummy, and that one's actually Frankenstein versus the Wolfman. They're actually based off of real movie posters. They're parodies of movie posters, basically. The actual classic movie posters. You can actually find what they're all based on, which is why when I saw them, I was like, I really need to get these posters. It was from the Udon's, what do you call it? The Darkstalkers versus Street Fighter event they did. So for example, if you actually just go over here, let's see, turn this off, turn this on. So if you go over here, like obviously you can see that, this poster here is the same as that poster back there, right? So you can see how like they're the same poster back there. And then, let me see. And there we go. Was this the right one, or was this, oh yeah, there it is. So then if you look at this over here, like clearly, obviously you can see like that, right? There's that, and then there's that, right? So, I mean, so brilliant stuff. So if you didn't see what I just retweeted a little bit earlier today, 10-0 is doing a from the US restream of the event. And so far, Tasty Steve, myself, Ultra David, and God, who was the last one? I think 4 commentators have been announced for it. So we're going to end up doing a restream from the US. So if you want to watch, it was with Majin Obama because he was the man on the floor. So we'll be doing that. So it'll be the 3 of us at the Tenno Studios with Majin Obama as the man on the floor over there. But the last trailer that came out teased that there might be someone else added. So we'll see how it goes. So, okay. All right. I mean, Street Fighter 6 on the Switch 2 would be brilliant. Brilliant. I would be so happy. Anyways, dude, okay, hour and 22 minutes now. Let's get to this. Otherwise, I'm going to be doing this forever. So, whoa! God, I forgot I put this here. It's so tacky. Oh, I'm getting rid of that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to It Was Tuesday with your host, James Chen, aka Jay Chenzor. Lots of funny things happen. Like, what is this logo doing down here? But I want to welcome the live YouTube audience here. Most of the time on these streams, when I reference the live audience, it's always been Twitch. But now I am actually dual streaming on YouTube as well. So if you do enjoy watching the It Was Tuesday episodes from front to back instead of being cut into smaller portions, you can now do that. Go to youtube.com/@UltraChenTV, click on the live tab and you'll see the archives there. Press play on the archive on the live stream and put it on the headphones and jog or do your work or whatever. So a lot of people out there I know have been requesting that. Shout outs to Peter, by the way, basically my producer now, for really helping me with all this and bringing all these new technologies to my attention and stuff like that, and helping me with these great ideas here. He introduced me to some new technology that allows me to multi-stream much in a very, very easy and convenient fashion. So this is the first time that I have done a live stream here on YouTube. But enough about all that. Oh, actually, you know what? One more thing. Also, just want to let people know that there's going to be a lot of rebranding and changes. So, for example, that's why this Chenzor Dynasty logo is here. I actually stream on 2 channels, twitch.tv/UltraChenTV, twitch.tv/JChenzor. I had 2 Discords. I finally have now narrowed it down to 1. Dude, it was crazy. Like, it was hard, and, you know, from a branding perspective, I feel like it was hurting me. Everything is getting united, and the Jay Chenzor brand is coming to the forefront, since UltraChenTV was originally a collaboration between Ultra David and myself. So it didn't feel right to keep it as UltraChenTV, so we're just going to switch it to Jay Chenzor now. So this YouTube channel will be changing to youtube.com/@JChenzor very, very soon. You guys don't have to do anything. Your subscription will stay, etc. You'll still get the same recommendations from this channel, etc., etc. Just understand now, when you click on links and you're like, wait, this used to be UltraChenTV. Why does it say Jay Chenzor now? It is because I am doing a lot of merging of channels and such. So same thing with the Twitch audience. If you guys are ever like, I want to watch UltraChenTV live on Twitch for the first time, the UltraChenTV Twitch channel is going to be shuttered and basically hibernating. And I will only be streaming on twitch.tv/JChenzor from that point forward. John the Automaton, are you talking about the YouTube channel? What will happen to the current Jay Chenzor channel, which is kind of more my own personal YouTube channel? I'll just change it to a different name. That's all. I'm just going to change it to a different name. and Jay Chenzor will now actually be directed to the Ultra Chen TV channel. That's all. So END is wondering what happened to the collaboration with Ultra David. And again, shout outs to all the guys here on YouTube watching. I really appreciate you guys watching over here. I hope you guys like having it over here. Ultra David got hired officially as Tenno's lawyer. Tenno, of course, is the company that, you know, streams Evo. They do the Tekken World Tour, or they used to stream Evo. I don't know if they're in charge anymore, but you know, Tekken World Tour they do, etc., etc. They still do a lot of like Nintendo stuff for like Splatoon and for Mario Kart, etc., etc. So he's become their official lawyer, and so, you know, he's working, like, for example, the SNK World Championships. Ultra David was working on that. He was working on that event as a producer. Well, then he can't be on Ultra Chen TV channel here being like, Samurai Showdown is boring. I hate the game. There's just a massive conflict of interest. So he was unable to continue doing this podcast here on Ultra Chen TV, so he bowed out. So the past couple of years, I've been maintaining it on my own. But like I said, that's kind of been hurting my own branding, etc., etc. So I'm now going to merge everything under one and hope that, you know, I can actually be a little more consistent with the branding and the messaging, because like a lot of people who watch Ultra Chen TV and watch It Was Tuesday don't even know I have a twitch.tv/JChenzor channel where I stream all the time that I'm not streaming It Was Tuesday. And I only got into this weird situation because originally this channel was supposed to be the collaboration channel, and me, Tasty Steve, Sajam, and Ultra David were all supposed to have our own personal channels. But then Steven and Tasty Steve left, and then David just decided to stream on this channel, and it just kind of got confused. And so there were two channels, but we were loading to one. Craziness. I need to unify it and make it simpler and work on my own brand, etc., etc. So from the future on forward, everything will be under the Jay Chenzor brand, and my community will be called the Chenzor Dynasty, in the same way that Sajam is Sajam, but his community is called the Hoop Squad, right? So that's basically what it's going to become. So yeah, so I stream more than Tuesdays. Not a lot, because recently I haven't been streaming much, but I used to stream on twitch.tv/JChenzor when I played Tetris, when I played Zelda, when I played random fighting games, when I was trying to record my Children of the Atom combos. I was streaming on twitch.tv/JChenzor, and a lot of people didn't even know that it exists. Right, exactly, Virgil Must Live, and this is why... This is why I need to do this. This is why I need to actually consolidate everything, because it's literally been hurting my brand and, you know, being able to garner larger audiences and stuff, because it's so inconsistent. Now, if everything is just under Jay Chenzor and there is no Ultra Chen TV, everybody knows where to find me, etc., etc. So that'll help a lot. So that's the plan here. That's the plan. Yeah, the teaching streams. Yeah, I did whole teaching streams where I like re-streamed events, or I'll just be streaming something and someone will be coming and be like, hey, James, so why do you have to walk back and forth in fighting games? I'm like, well, and then I talk about it for like 2 hours, you know, that will all be, going on over here. So, well, again, now they will all be on YouTube, because now I am dual streaming everything on both. I will be dual streaming everything on both twitch.tv/JChenzor and youtube.com/@JChenzor, which is this channel. So all the archives will just show up in the live tab. So if you actually go to youtube.com/@UltraChenTV, @JChenzor in the future, there will be a live tab that you see on the top. You click that, all the archives will be there. So you can find the archives, and so if you want to go back and watch any of those things, that's all there. That's all there. So, yeah, and I always did newbie streams for tournaments. I would do the beginner restream of a lot of events, you know, so. Dude, the current combo I'm working on, Virgil Must Live, oh my God. It's not even like a crazy combo like the Psylocke one. It's just that the character doesn't have a lot of combos. So everything I find that's like 1 or 2 frame perfect stuff, I have to put in because it's like the only thing I can actually do. I'm working on Colossus right now. I'm working on Colossus. So there are some really hard things that I have to do in this combo. Holy crap. Anyways, let's get into business over here. Let's talk about stuff. Before I actually also get started, now that everything is merged together, I can talk about this on this stream, which didn't make sense before, but now it does make sense. I'm going to, let me do something really quick. Okay, there we go. If you have not yet, please consider joining the Chenzor Dynasty Discord. So the Chenzor Dynasty Discord has been around for a very, very long time, like the Ultra Chen TV Discord, but nobody was really using the Ultra Chen TV Discord anymore, so it has now been shuttered, so that is just gone. But I have put a lot of work into redoing the entire Chenzor Dynasty Discord. So now the Chenzor Dynasty Discord is basically I am trying to turn into a really, really like great place to socialize with other fighting game players, to hang out, to get to know people, to meet people. And the two main features right now are the matchmaking forums, channels, the matchmaking channels, and what that does is that there's literally a beginner, an intermediate, and an expert channel. You can go in there, tag the game that you are looking for competitors for, so you can literally do @Tekken, hit enter, and say like, I'm looking for Tekken competitors, and when you first join the server, you can pick your roles, which is essentially assigning yourself these games. So if you play Tekken, you'll get the notification down there. If you don't play Tekken, it doesn't ping you, so you don't have to pay attention. So trying to set up a really good way for people to find matchmaking for every game possible, right? Like I've put it at all the games, and the games that I don't have, there's other fighting game as a category that you can do as well. The other thing is that I have also created a spectator/meetup zone, which just has a bunch of voice channels. And for those of you who don't have an ability to stream, like you don't have a Twitch account, or you don't have a lot of the good material, or like it's like you don't want to make overlay, whatever, blah, or you don't care, like you that's not your goal, you're not trying to stream to Twitch, you can actually go to these voice channels, stream your session, because it captures desktop, it can use applications, it can also use capture devices as well, but stream your session for the express purpose of having people join the voice channel to hang out with you, because you can't do this on Twitch, right? You can't talk to them. But what I like is like people just to go and, oh, somebody's playing, let's go check them out. And you go watch him, and so you watch people and you encourage people like, oh, good job. Or like, hey, by the way, do you notice you're DPing a lot? Like you DP every time you wake up. Like you gotta start blocking, you know, stuff like this. And, you know, I'm hoping to have it so that, because the one thing that I believe, two things about fighting games that I believe is, one, that it is a social genre, that it is meant to be social, which is why so many of the people who had really robust, busy arcades remember it so fondly, because some of the people that I made friends with playing fighting games are like friends forever, right? Like and you know, being forced to, you know, leave the machine and not like just jump right back on like you do in ranked. Like you lose a salty match, you play the next person, and you're like, oh, I'm so mad, you know, and so you play really badly, you just keep getting more mad. One of the nice things is that what you would end up doing in arcades, you would lose, put up a quarter, sit off to the side, stew a little bit, calm down, and even see the person who beat you destroy everybody else. And so you're like, oh, this guy's good. Okay, I don't feel so bad anymore. Or you even see them lose, and now you're like, wait, he fell for that all the time? And so like, now you get new strat. Watching is so important, and which is why I've created the spectator meetup zone, because I am trying to encourage people watching fighting games. Because watching fighting games is one of the most important ways to grow in fighting games that nobody does. And you know, you're like, well, I watch tournaments all the time, but it's different. It's different because you're watching. It's like watching NBA players, like, you know, play basketball. You kind of have this detachment. Like, these are the professionals, so I'm just watching for the entertainment and to be wowed. But if you're sitting here watching other players who are at your skill level, who are better than you, maybe only by a little bit, or even worse than you, like, you can, it's easier to really put into context, like, in relation to you, right? Like, it's actually tangible. Like, hey, you know, whenever I play, I notice that this happens a lot. Like, you can actually give that kind of advice. And that would be a lot helpful, because I'll tell you right now, and I know that some people disagree with me, but that's because the FGC is self-selected to be people like this nowadays. But I really think ranked sucks, and I've been saying this on this channel for forever. I think ranked is a miserable experience. If you can get to the point where you're playing ranked on one of these voice chats over here and you just have people watching you, or you can actually just go and go in that channel, and there's also a spectator meetup channel. You'd be like, hey guys, I'm like at Street Fighter 6. Hey guys, I'm playing some ranked matches on Street Fighter 6. If you feel like hanging out and giving me advice, that'd be cool. And then strangers might just come in and help. Obviously, that's gonna be built off of making a true community. And so on top of all of that, you know, just as a hard, fast rule, I will not be tolerating any hate in my Discord, okay? I will not be tolerating any hate speech, any anti-women, any anti-trans, anything like that. Like, you will be banned, okay? I am not playing around on this one, okay? And if you're like, well, James, that sucks, like, are you just trying to curb free speech? Like, this is my motherfucking Discord, okay? You can swear on the Discord too, just no hate speech. But the thing about it is, there's plenty of communities that I'm sure you can find that'll let you do whatever the fuck you want, okay? But this is my Discord, and I want it to be a friendly place, all right? And so I am going to make sure it is a friendly place, okay? I am making sure. So if you don't like it, go find another channel, go find another Discord community, and go hang out there. But for now, it is going to be basically zero tolerance for hate speech in my Discord, okay? I want to make this a socially, a very friendly environment. And again, your community is how you craft it, right? The people who tend to watch It Was Tuesday and watch me stream and stuff, definitely kind of gears towards the older crowd, because they can relate to me, and because I cater my community that way, because I'm trying to make sure my community is one more of, you know, friendliness and, you know, and welcoming and inclusivity. So you craft your own community. And so for my Discord, I am crafting that's the only hate speech that's allowed, which is against Sabretooth, El Zilcho. That's the only hate speech that allowed, is everybody can talk shit about X-Men versus Street Fighter, Sabretooth. So exactly, Petty. People know about the Nazi bar situation, right? So that's that story that's gone around. So that is what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen. So Again, I haven't announced this on Twitter. I haven't gone crazy full bore with it, so it's going to be a little empty at first. I think there's only about 200 members for now, but if I can craft it well, if I can try to make it, my secret goal is to try to make it kind of like a new version of Shoryuken.com used to be, but a little more focused on you know, like, so Shoryuken.com was kind of a Wild West. I'm trying to make it a little more focused here. But eventually, so Discord has been adding features like forums and stuff like that. So eventually, if it gets big enough, I may create a Street Fighter 6 forum and have like threads for characters, and we can do character talks and stuff like that. But that's only if it gets big enough, because if I do that right now, if you have too much going on, people are not going to see each other's messages, and it's going to be kind of kind of like hectic, right? So if it gets bigger, Shoryuchen, it's shoryuchen.com. I like that, actually. Or maybe it's sureyoucan.com, you know, like honestly, I could just keep up with the Shoryuken scrimmage branding there. So, but yeah, that's the idea for the Discord. So if you do have a chance and would like to try to join something of that nature, again, this link that you see in the chat here right now, both on YouTube and in Twitch, is going to expire. I had a permanent link and it stopped working. Discord! So I am going to recreate that, and once I do, I will put that out for everybody. So for sure, Cone, thank you. And again, the work that TOs do behind the scenes are always underappreciated. And every time I ran tournaments, Cone would always do a lot of the back end stuff for me. I might do something different than Shoryuken scrimmage investigation, Cone. I might run different tournaments, but you know, if you want to help with that, I might be able to do that. So, okay. So let's move on to the topics here. I know I say this every time. I don't intend to talk very long about these topics because I don't want to go too long. And I might actually do another It Was Tuesday tomorrow if I can actually get everything all ready to go. I don't know if I'll get it all ready to go in time, but we'll see what happens. But let's talk about the topics over here from this past weekend. Hello, everybody. Welcome to It Was Tuesday with your host, James Chen, aka Jay Chenzor. You can see a lot of things are changing around here, but what hasn't changed is fighting games are fun, and they're great. And so this past weekend was the Fatal Fury City of the Wolves beta. And so we finally got a chance to get our hands on this game. I mean, I've only managed to play for like an hour at Evo, and that hour flew by so fast. Holy crap. So it was really nice to play City of the Wolves, you know, at home. And of course, you know, I was able to cheat because I had my PC and I had my PlayStation 5. Since it was free to get in, you didn't have to register or anything like that. I got the beta on both machines. I created a private room. I friended myself, and I just fought myself all day so I could lab. And so I was able to test out a lot of things. I went through the tutorial and such. And, you know, let's get a couple of things out of the way here first. Let's just get the elephants out of the room here. One, not having any trading mode was kind of annoying. I am a person who really prefers labbing, and if I don't get to lab a character, I hate. I'm not the kind of guy who can jump online and just be like, let's play, even though I know nothing. Like, it's like I have a level of frustration. Fortunately, by the end of the weekend, Vicious jumped in my chat and was like, do you want to play a set? And I was like, I haven't played anyone, but you know what? I want to see what the pace of this game feels like. You're going to kick my ass, but I'm expecting that. I understand that, so I'm not going to get salty. And so when we played, I got salty only because of control and muscle memory problems, but I wasn't mad that he was beating me up because clearly he had been playing the whole weekend. But I do appreciate him, just beating me up for a little bit, while I'm sure he could have had more fun fighting against someone who was a stronger opponent. But he really did help me get a feel for the pace of the game and more of an understanding of what to expect from the game. But again, a lot of people have said, why not just make it so that while you're waiting for your matches, you get to play training mode, right? So that's the only way you can access training mode is by queuing up. Now, obviously, like Olaf has said, you could then just switch it to only 5-star connections and only local to lower your chances of finding somebody, so you stay in training mode longer, or I'm sure people will find some crazy way to like get into training mode and then disconnect the router and it doesn't crash, or so, like I'm sure people will find some weird ways around it. But I mean, it would be nice to have that, because I think that would have made a lot more people braver to go and test the netcode. Like, I played it the whole weekend. I basically didn't test the netcode. I tested netcode to my PlayStation 5 right there, a few feet away, and then to Jeremy, who lives in Southern California with me, right? So, but the other elephant in the room, obviously, is the matchmaking. And let's talk about this one. Let's delve into this topic here, because this is dangerous. This is like all the alarms are going off in my head right now. The red lights are flashing, and you just hear the air raid sirens, right? And I'm hearing the like a 4-alarm fire is happening right now. So again, Gundam Juhudi Kai. So let's make a distinction between that. Gundam Juhudi Kai says I had a better connection to someone 300 miles away compared to a friend 30 miles away. That is netcode, right? I am talking matchmaking here. We have to make sure we make a distinction between netcode and matchmaking. The netcode, for the most part, worked. Obviously, there was some issues. Some people had some issues, but a lot of people out there said that the netcode was actually extremely great. And you're not going to account for all situations, and that's what this beta test is for, to try to find the situations where it went bad. I mean, I have seen some where like the ping decided to jump up to like 30 million or whatever. Like, it was just ridiculous. But hopefully they get those fixed. But for the most part, most people said it worked well. Olaf was playing people literally a whole world away, and it was working pretty well with them. But matchmaking is finding an opponent and setting you guys up to play against each other. This is the part that wasn't working, because some people said they would wait for hours for people to show up. Some people said they couldn't get anyone. I mean, Olaf, again, he played and was able to find people like maybe every 5 minutes, but also my bandwidth is really strong that I can actually stream to 2 channels at the same time right now. Hint, hint, I'm streaming to youtube.com as well as twitch.tv. But I have really good internet here, and I'm in Southern California, right? So like the chances of you finding people close by, et cetera, is going to be significantly higher. So again, even during Street Fighter V, my experience was very rarely awful, right? A lot of people like treat Street Fighter V netcode like the devil, and I totally get it. I didn't have that experience, but that's also because, like I said, my bandwidth is very high because I stream. So I know I had to have high bandwidth, so. But the matchmaking is a disaster. And the reason why this is just setting off all of the alarms in my head is that SNK has not been able to get this right. Samurai Showdown came out. Obviously, it was delay-based netcode, so we won't talk about that. But even then, the matchmaking wasn't great. It was like the rooms didn't work half the time. People just fall out and all this crazy stuff happening. So like, again, the lobby stuff is all matchmaking code, right? That's, making sure that you could find each other. And even in the City of the Wolves one, if you tried to invite people to your private room, that didn't work. The only way was that if you had to friend the other player via their wolf tag system and then invite friends, but you couldn't just invite random people to the room because it just didn't work. Right, so Zilcho says, it was really bad for me the first day or two. The rest of the time it was okay, not great, right? And even Olaf said, like, he would wait 5-10 minutes, and that's not particularly acceptable either. The matchmaking is a problem, and then we got to KOF 15. And if you remember, there was the website, what was it? It has, like, is KOF 15 matchmaking still broken.com or something like that? I don't remember what it was, but like literally they had that site and it just said no. And it was there for over a year. Raphael says in the YouTube chat, a fight game took 60 seconds to finish. Supposed to be easy to find match in less than 2 minutes. Exactly. But the matchmaking in KOF 15 didn't get fixed for over a year, and everybody knew about it. And everybody was so excited to play KOF 15, and a lot of people wanted to. But if your matchmaking experience is bad, especially these days for fighting games, because there's really not much else to do unless you have a crazy world tour mode and stuff. But again, that's like separate one-player stuff. Like, if people just want to play the damn fighting game, if matchmaking doesn't work, they can't play the damn fighting game, right? Like, especially if you're in an area where you don't have a lot of friends and, you don't have people that you could just bring to rooms and stuff. If you require rank to find opponents or even casual matches, because the matchmaking is the same for both, like, that is a problem. And so the fact that it took over a year for SNK to fix this is bad. Like, they did fix it. It got better. It still wasn't great, but it was better. It was significantly better after a while. But now what I'm being told is that KOF 13 global match is getting just hammered on Steam in reviews because the netcode and the matchmaking doesn't work. So, like, right? Kind of a situation here. And so, like, that's literally 3 games in a row right now where they haven't been able to get the matchmaking right. They have to get the matchmaking right for Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. If they do not get the matchmaking fixed by the time it releases, that will be a death knell. A lot of people are like, well, if the game is good enough, it can sustain. Undernight died after a week on PC because their net play, I call it net play, that encompasses netcode and matchmaking. Their net play wasn't working for a week. After a week was over, I would tell people like, why aren't you playing Undernight? And they're like, oh, I couldn't play any online matches, so I quit. And I was like, that was only a week. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, what? And Melty Blood's netcode didn't work for 3 days, I think, and they fixed it. And that was too late. Like, most of the people who tried Melty Blood out, that was it. Like, they were like, well, it doesn't work. Let me go and play one of the other 69,000 fighting games out there. And this is the problem, right? There's too many goddamn fighting games. When people are trying new fighting games, they're finding something new to get them hooked. And if it doesn't hook them right away, like, you have so many options to play right now, not to mention, like, just Fightcade, right? Like, a lot of people just gonna go to Fightcade. I'll play Third Strike, Like, there are so many fighting games out there that if you don't come out the gate swinging, you are going to be in a lot of trouble. Oh, man. Yeah, and that's actually a good point that Petty brings up as well, especially now that we have this huge SF6-shaped behemoth looming on the horizon. And again, that's not even like, oh, Street Fighter 6 is the most fun. Street Fighter 6 is now basically the paragon of, dev-released fighting game net play, right? The netcode is just ridiculously good, and the matchmaking is really good. It helps that it has the player base. That always makes a big difference. But the fact that it came out swinging, like, there's been no time during Street Fighter 6 release where all of us are like, why is this netcode not working? Like, it came out and it just worked, and it hasn't stopped working the entire time. So it's real. So Tekken 8 matchmaking is fine. It's the netcode that people have a lot of problem with because it's not true rollback, right? It's still delay based with a little rollback or something. I'm still not 100% sure how it exactly works, but it's not true rollback. So a lot of the times when I've played it online and I've ran into people who didn't have good connections, it definitely was a little more, it felt like delay-based netcode than, you know, the slideshow thing. When the connection is bad on rollback netcode, you get the slideshow. On delay-based netcode, you get the button and then the action coming out later. That's, I experienced a little more in Tekken, I think. But again, like, hard to say sometimes, really hard to say sometimes. So, but the netcode for Tekken is, the matchmaking is fine. I got matches constantly on there. And again, a larger player base is always a really powerful thing to have. So again, the fact that City of the Wolves has this matchmaking problem is not a good sign because this game is coming out in less than 2 months. So, what's the situation we're in right now when it comes to this matchmaking? Let me tell you. SNK and Oda and everybody has acknowledged that the matchmaking is not working. And so they have admitted that they had only intended a single beta, but now they have basically said there's another beta coming. Like, even during the beta, they were like, yeah, we'll probably do a second beta. And now it's basically, yes, here's a second beta. I don't... Chaos Master MK1 is hard to talk about because, one, I have no experience. I've never played the game. And secondly, that game was rushed. So if anything's wrong with MK1's net play experience, it's just everything can just be attributed to the game being rushed. Like, it's hard to analyze that game because it was kind of like a frustrating situation. So Cap Torch Humerica says that MK1's netcode is okay. So there you go. Not bad, but not as good as MK11's. Okay, that makes sense. It's kind of interesting to see the fighting game genre be in a healthy enough state that a dev actually has to worry about not bungling a release because that's several alternatives where there's several alternatives where you can find a good match with good netcode in short time. Right. So they've acknowledged that there's going to be another beta. The fortunate thing about this is that fixing matchmaking is not fixing the game. And in fact, the game that we have right now on the beta, I've uninstalled all mine, the game that, that we got for the beta can literally be the exact same build they give us again. So in case you don't know how matchmaking works, matchmaking is handled all on the server side, is all on the company's servers, right? All that happens is that when you go to ranked and queue up to find a match, you send a signal to their server, to their matchmaking server, and their matchmaking server goes, okay, this guy's looking for a match. And basically, if you imagine 1,000 people all doing that, all of them get sent to the matchmaking server. Then the matchmaking server goes, let's see, who do I want to pair up based off of these criteria? You're in this region, you're in this region. There's a lot of logic that gets put in here, and you can code the logic in a way like this'll work, and you don't realize that in the real world scenario, like, oh boy, like this actually, like let's just say like you can't get paired up with people who have like this speed, right? And you didn't give any leeway in it. So like if a connection goes up and down, 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 it catches during a down and it's like, well, this guy's terrible, right? Instead of just having a lag spike or whatever. Like there's a lot of logic that is designed on the server side, on the matchmaking server. Once it finds two people that it intends to actually pair to each other, it sends a signal back to both players and says, do you want to accept this match? Both players play yes, send the message back to the server, and the server's like, all right, here, I'm picking one of you as a host and one of you as a client, and you know what? You're gonna connect to each other. It sends you guys to play against each other. This is what peer-to-peer means. It sends you guys to play against each other, and then it just doesn't know you exist anymore. The only thing it knows is that in its database, there's a matchup between this player, and we're waiting for a result. We're waiting for one of them to give us a result. That's all it knows, but now it has no connection to either of these players, right? So the two players will fight against each other peer to peer. This is where netcode kicks in. This is the code in the actual game that we have on our machines. That is where netcode is handled. They talk to each other, they fight, and if the netcode works, it's great, they fight each other. But this is, now you see why matchmaking and netcode are separate things and why one can suck and the other can be great, right? You can have great matchmaking with bad, shitty netcode. You can have great netcode with bad, shitty matchmaking. And so far, SNK hasn't been able to do the server-side matchmaking correctly. And a lot of that can be all sorts of things. It could be they're not using a good database, or they didn't configure the database properly to take in this many entries so quickly, or their bandwidth isn't good enough, right? But, you know, it would be silly for them to host their own. They're probably going to use something like an Amazon Web Services, which has great network bandwidth, et cetera, et cetera. But again, the logic, anything can get in the way. And so basically, after the two guys fight each other, they both send up the signal back to the machine and say, hey, I won, hey, I lost. And then the server, matchmaking server, will go find that match in my database. Oh, there it is. Yep, they have no result. Put the result in. Done, right? Send back how much points you should earn, et cetera, et cetera. Oh no, that's calculated and sent right away. Anyways, you know, basically, that's where matchmaking comes in. All it does is pair two people together, send them down to play each other, and then record the results. This is matchmaking code. This is what is not working. I thought Fatal Fury was awesome. The demo sucked, but the game itself seemed cool. Right. We'll get into that a little bit, Apathy, in a little bit. But I will say this. Yes, the gameplay was awesome, okay? And the netcode was great. It was just the matchmaking was the problem, right? That's just where we were at, right? And that's what makes it really hard. Yeah, so Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, the original was killed by COVID. Same thing with Undernight. Before Undernight 2, the last one, the very last Undernight, Cis Celeste, also came out right before the pandemic and had delay-based netcode. And so it, like, all these companies discovered, yes, we need to have rollback. Dragon Ball FighterZ, through all, like, shout outs to that community for keeping that game alive through the pandemic before they finally got rollback. However, they also were able to establish a strong community before the pandemic, so that community was able to fight to keep that community alive during the pandemic. Grand Blue and Undernight Cis Celeste did not have that pleasure. They literally came out pandemic and done, right? So that was kind of a problem right there. So I should work for SNK for a while and code the matchmaking for them. Salt? No. I am not a network programmer. I do not know much about it. And even though I understand what it's supposed to do, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm the right person to code it. Again, one of the toughest things about coding is it's a lot of technology. And what I mean by technology is that, do you understand SQL? Do you understand databases? Do you know the best way to create a database? What is the way to create a database that puts the least amount of stress on the database, right? Like, do you do this? Do you put the connector tables in there? Do you force unique entries over here? Do you allow this? Like, if you are creating stuff like that, like, you have to be an expert in databases, which I did work for databases and I did a lot of SQL back in my old job, but I didn't do a lot of the networking stuff. I was not good at the networking stuff. And so that's a different story, right? And so, you know, somebody out there is going to be great. So one of the reasons why Strive works so well is because Zynak, who worked on the original Killer Instinct, got hired by ArcSys to help on their netcode for rollback netcode for Strive. And so he was one of the guys who tried to help him. So, like, literally SNK, like, I know they have budget, but if they don't spend that budget to hire somebody who maybe has done this already to help them with their netcode, their matchmaking now, it's going to be a really, really big problem. Very, very big problem. That's right. I keep calling it SysLS, but SysLS is something completely different, right? It was Uniclair. What the heck was SysLS? No, wait, that is an Under Night, right? Shit, I can't even remember. Oh, SysLS is 2. I'm sorry. Okay, that's right. Under Night 2 is SysLS. The Under Night that came out that got killed by netcode, you're right, was Uniclair, was Under Night CLR. Under Night 2 is SysLS. Okay, that's my bad, sorry. Too many names that I'm confused. Right, just because you know how to drive a car doesn't mean you know how to build a car, exactly. I know, like, even if I know, like, this is how an engine works. Like, it takes this, you know, pumps in the air and the oxygen and manifold or, you know, whatever. I don't know, because clearly I don't know anything about cars. Like, I can know all about that, but that doesn't mean I can build an engine, right? So it's very different kind of tasks out there. But this is the situation that we have right now with Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. And so when I say, like, SNK, you had better make this work or you're, like, done. You will be DOA, right? And like I joked in my tweet that I talked about this, no, I don't mean the game that Mai is a guest in. You will be dead on arrival, right? Like the game, because people aren't even going to give you a day or two of a chance because of King of Fighters 15. King of Fighters 15 experience was so bad that if Fatal Fury comes out and the matchmaking doesn't work, people will be like, SNK again, and the word will spread on the internets for better or for worse so fast, and everybody will just be like, well, back to Tekken, well, back to Street Fighter. And that's gonna happen, and it sucks. So when I say this to SNK, this is not me trying to threaten them or be like, you guys suck. I'm just telling them right now, this had better work. And as I said in my tweet, if that means you have to delay the game, delay the game. Delay the game, please, 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 please. Right? Now, the problem is, let's talk about the option of delaying the game. This is not a great option either, because if you guys don't know how businesses work, they can't afford to delay the game. Obviously, a lot of people have brought up, it's been announced for Esports World Cup. It's already been announced for EVO Japan. It's already been announced for EVO Worlds. And, you know, that's going to be starting a little, well, EVO Japan will be right on the heels. That's in May, if I'm not mistaken, like immediately after City of the Wolves comes out, right? So that would be bad if they had to pull it out of EVO Japan. But again, that would be a better option. The problem is, so the netcode is fine. I mean, the netcode is fine. It's the matchmaking that's broken right now. And so here's the reason why, John the Automaton, he asks, I don't understand why they put the game in EVO so long before the game had even come out. Because there's another reason why they can't delay the game. And if you haven't worked for a big giant corporate company or have been around a lot of video game talk in the past, you're not aware of how this works. Companies run on a fiscal year. The fiscal year is not January to January. The fiscal years for all the companies is April to April. This is huge. If you wonder why so many major releases come out in April, is because this is the last chance for them to release a game and boost the fiscal year's gross. A lot of companies, they will put stuff on April because this fiscal year, this is our target. If we don't hit this target, this year is bad. We're not going to get this kind of, our stock is going to drop. Our shareholders are going to rebel because we promised that this is going to make this much money this year. And if we don't hit it, faith in our stock is going to disappear and we're going to lose so much value. So, like, the new God of War came out in April, right? Like, Street Fighter came out in June, which is crazy. But then again, Capcom has Monster Hunter, so whatever, but a lot of games come out in April, right? April to March. It's like partially April to April, like partway through April. Or if they release it close enough, they can still cook the books to put it in the previous year or whatever like that. So the thing about it is right now, SNK is probably under that pressure right now. And because they have that pressure, you release the game in April because that gives you the most time possible to work on the game before it releases. But then, like, your company might actually just tell you, look, you're releasing in April. You don't have any choice. If it's whatever state it in, it has to come out in April or we're screwed. And so games will come out in April for this reason. Things come out in April for this reason, to fit to the fiscal year. And so even if the matchmaking doesn't work, it might still come out. But that's why they can commit to being at an EVO Japan or to an EVO or an Esports World Cup, because again, they might not have the choice to delay it. So as much as I sat there in my tweet and was like, please delay the game until it works, I even said in the follow-up tweet, I was like, but I totally understand like fiscal year targets and stuff like that. I know it's never as simple. So in the way that the world works, everyone just feels like, oh, you know what? Like, oh, look, KOF is, funded by the Saudi prince. Like, can't they just give them money for free? Or like, EVO is owned by Sony. They should just give them money. Like, it's not how anything works. Nobody ever has carte blanche to be able to take money to fix things like that. Like, it's just not how it works, right? Like, literally not how it works. Everything is always, okay, how much do you think it's gonna cost? Make sure you come into within this target, oh God, we need more money, sir. And the people will be like, really? You need more money? How much do you need? And how long is it gonna take? Will this actually help you? Can we make this money back? Et cetera, et cetera. Like I said in my tweet, in a tweet in response to someone, rich people like staying rich. And that counts for companies as well, right? So if you think a company like RTS or Sony is gonna be like, sure, RTS, here's $1 billion. Hope this helps make EVO run smoother, and be like, gee golly willikers, actually, can you throw in another $500 million? That would really help. Here you go. Like, that's just not how anything works. It's not how the world works, unfortunately. So, yeah, you can't be the rich, spoiled son who just asked dad for money, right? So SNK is in a very tough position. My suspicion is they have to get the game out by April. So if that's the case and they can't delay it, now let's ask the question that a lot of people have been asking me in the chat. Can they get it fixed by release? Can they actually pull this off? The answer is, of course, yes, they can. It just, like everything in the world, how much money are you going to spend on it? How much money do you have? You can hire a lot of people. You can run a lot more tests. And then you can also force everybody to never see their family, like as the video game industry does. So, of course they can do it, but can they do it, right? That's the real question. Is it possible? Yes. Can they do it? It depends on what the situation is. It depends on whether or not they can get the money and all this stuff like that. So, again, like a lot of people are like, these companies suck, don't they even QA their games? And I hate that one the most. Me and Olaf will go off for 10 years about like how QA is just completely mistreated and is actually one of the most impossible jobs on the planet. If you want me to explain that, I can do that too. But again, like it's really, really hard for SNK right now. They're in a terrible, terrible situation. This is hard for SNK. And that's why this beta is necessary, because now they have all this information. They have this data from the first beta that clearly they were only intending on one beta, so they were pretty sure it was going to work, and it didn't work. And this is why if you can't not release in April, if you cannot delay the game, this is where you go and hire somebody. Like, if you can poach somebody from Capcom, if you can maybe even find someone from the US, go find Zynac, right? Go hire Zynac. Just be like, you worked for ArcSys for a while, poach someone from ArcSys, or literally just find someone out there who has done this, who is good at this, who might be able to help, right? I mean, hell, you could even hire the Fightcade guys from Spain, and they might even be able to help you, right? Because Fightcade matchmaking works great. So, you know, it's a tough situation for them. And again, it's not as simple as everyone just being like, why can't they? Why can't they? Why can't they? I mean, you're right to ask that question, why can't they? Unfortunately, there's like a billion answers why they can't. And so, like, right now, if you can't delay the game, now is where you spend the money to get it right. Because that's the only way you're going to solve the problem and have it ship on time. The problem is, do you have that money? The thing about it is, if you launch it with broken matchmaking, the game is dead and your sales will just evaporate. At this point in time, if you spend extra money to fix this matchmaking, I don't want to keep mixing the two up. If you spend the money to fix the matchmaking, you will actually lose less money than if you ship it with broken matchmaking and fix it even 2-3 days later. And again, this is not the fault of SNK. Well, I mean, a lot of people are going to be like, dude, how have they not learned yet, right? Yes, we can definitely go on that. Obviously, the SNK Japan team is not ginormous. They don't have as many people working on the game, I'm sure, as like Capcom and probably ArcSys, although ArcSys is famously a very small company. But, you know, it's hard. It's a lot of work, right? Yeah, so I mean, definitely you can get on SNK's case about this. Like, haven't you learned? Like, can't you get this working and whatever, et cetera, et cetera. But it's a tough situation. So like, I don't. Oh, that's right. What I was saying was it's not necessarily SNK's fault, because also the fighting game community is in a weird situation, right? Like, look at MOBAs, right? What are the main MOBAs right now? We have League of Legends, we have Heroes of the Storm, and we have Dota, right? Like, those are the three. Have there been any new MOBAs that have even, like, made a dent in those three? And really, it's like League, right? It's like League, Dota, and, like, HOTS, right? Multiplayer online battle arena, is that what it's called? I think it is. Basically it's League of Legends games and stuff like that. Oh, okay, so Valve has one. Okay, so Valve has Magic. Again, big company. They have the muscle to be able to push into this industry. But if you are a big MOBA player, it's just gonna be one of those four, right? It's literally just gonna be one of those four. Mobile Bang Bang in Asia. Okay, I've never heard of that one, but yeah. Yeah, China matters the most for those big MOBAs. But the thing is, there's not a lot of them. So like, if you are Dota, you come out with a patch and it kind of fucks up your game. Or even if you're Valve. If you're Valve, you come out with this game and like, it doesn't work right away. Like, you can take a little bit of time to fix it and people will be like, okay, I'll come back to try it. Because your only option is those 3 other games that have been there forever, right? The biggest problem, I mean, look at the Hero Fighters thing, right? Like, Marvel Rivals came out and now everyone's on Marvel Rivals, right? Like, and Overwatch, I heard is suffering, but somebody can, help me, correct me if I'm wrong on that. Right, so MOBA on mobile, which is kind of a different kind of platform, so it's a very different kind of situation. The problem with fighting games right now, and this is the reason why I say that this is hard for SNK, is there's just too many goddamn fighting games. There are too many fighting games. It's so hard for a fighting game to actually come out and make a splash. The only one that we can really say that might have done so recently is Grand Blue. But guess what? Grand Blue's company has a lot of money. They have a lot of money. And if they have to delay the game or if the game isn't successful, that doesn't matter because Grand Blue is making them money hand over fist, right? And like I said, doesn't mean that's carte blanche to be able to, but like literally, like does that company do anything else except for Grand Blue? Right? So like, it's crazy. Like they can probably take their time. And you know who else can take their time? Riot. How long has 2XKO been in development? We've been hearing about 2XKO for what feels like almost a decade, it feels like right now. Like I'm trying to exaggerate, but that might even be true. I don't know, right? But like literally, they have been working on 2XKO for a long time because Riot's giving them an opportunity. Now imagine if 2XKO was owned by ArcSys or owned by Bandai Namco or owned by, SNK. The game would have been out already, released in a form maybe that they weren't happy with. But 2XKO right now is having a great time sitting here able to be refined, right? So it's kind of like a different... It's so hard to succeed as a fighting game. How many fighting games come out? I see advertisements for fighting games all over the place. And, as content creators and as influencers, we try our best to promote games like Them's Fightin' Herds, Fight, or Punch Planet, or, Chaos Breakers, I think it's called. There's so many fighting. There was those videos for that one that looked like the little toy action figures. That looks really cool. I saw at least 4 different advertisements for new fighting games at Frosty Faustings, if I'm not mistaken. There was just so much out there. Right, mobile, does all the gambling addictions, gotchas, and stuff the whole different kind of story here. But again, fighting games, there's just too many out there, and there's only enough room for a few to really succeed into that space, right? Guilty Gear actually found a way to push into it because it was the first major studio fighting game with really good rollback netcode from Japan. Right? All the good rollback netcode games were Skullgirls, Killer Instinct, and Them's Fightin' Herds, but they were all US studios, right? And also outside of Killer Instinct and even arguing Killer Instinct, most of them were very small studios, right? And so the first real, this is we are fighting games, company like ArcSys was able to come out with this. And so we have a situation where, it really changed a lot of opinions on rollback netcode. I've said this in the past. Street Fighter V did irreparable damage to the reputation of rollback netcode because it was so faulty that everybody was like, rollback netcode sucks. Why does everyone keep arguing for this? Because this shit is garbage, right? And then when the Strive beta came out and finally switched to rollback, a bunch of Japanese players were like, oh, this is rollback. Wow, this is amazing. This is great. No wonder people like it, It's like, oh, man. So, oh, man. Well, it didn't, Comrade Tyrone, Tekken 7 really didn't do more damage to rollback because Tekken 7 wasn't using rollback, right? Or it was, but wasn't, but was, but wasn't. So again, they did some weird merging of delay-based and rollback netcode, which is technically what rollback netcode is. It really is a form, if you change the, the one of the settings for rollback netcode, you essentially turn it into delay-based netcode. But, you know, again, I don't want to get into too much. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. That's true. Because Harada was saying it was rollback constantly. You're right. So that's kind of, that is kind of bad. SNK is in a tough position right now. If they release this game with the matchmaking broken, the problem is they're releasing it into a genre and an environment where there are too many other options to play. And so it will hurt them badly. I'm really scared. And again, I want this game to succeed. Like, SNK fans need this win, man. They need this win. And we can move on to the next topic. The game feels fantastic right now. I mean, people have been basically fiending about this gameplay, and God, the beta's gone, withdrawal, it's hard because like people are enjoying it so much and they really, really want to keep playing the game. Again, hello everybody on YouTube. First time streaming live here. Whee! Again, now you can actually go to the live tab on the main page channel and watch the archives if you like listening to it from front to back. Yeah, like, you are right. So, like, Skrill-sama saying he felt that way about 2XKO. Like I said, 2XKO has the benefit of what fiscal year? Keep working on it, right? Because Riot has always had a policy that they will not release a game unless they think it is of worthy quality. Like, that is a Riot mantra in the company. Like, if a game is starting to be made and it's not good, they won't release it. I think Blizzard had that as well, too, which is why StarCraft Ghost, like, was there and then just disappeared because I just don't think it was up to snuff. SNK has a lot of people to compete. Oh, well, sorry, blah, blah, blah. We're past that already. ADHD brain. The gameplay is fantastic right now. People are really enjoying the game. And so it is already poised to be a winner. And a lot of people are saying if this game comes out right with the net play, this could become a major player in the FGC. Because right now, like, Street Fighter 6 is the most played game. What do everybody hate the most is Drive Rush. And let's face it, City of the Wolves is Street Fighter 6 without Drive Rush, right? So, like, people are going to get really, really excited for this game, and a lot of people are already excited. And so that this game has a potential to really kind of become one of the stalwarts of the FGC, right? Because for the longest of time, the big three was always Street Fighter, Tekken, and MK, right? Those were always the big three. Even though MK didn't get the tournament play, MK always had the sales, right? And for a while, the Pro Comp Tour was like really big and doing really great stuff. And then Warner Brothers happened. Let's not get into that. But you can see like the way things shifted a little bit. When Street Fighter V came out, for all intents and purposes, it's been the least successful Street Fighter game since 4. I mean, there's only 3. It's really a stupid way to put it because nothing was going to be less successful than Street Fighter 3. But, in this modern era, it didn't do well. Like, it took 3 years for Street Fighter 5 to sell 3 million units, and Street Fighter 6 has sold 3 million units in 1 year, okay? That's just the way to indicate it. And so what happened? Tekken took that opportunity, and then Tekken became the big dog in the FGC. Many events started ending with Tekken 7, right? And then Strive came out, had the great netcode, and it actually just plied its way into that big 3 and kicked MK out of it. And so now Guilty Gear Strive, Guilty Gear, Street Fighter, and Tekken are the big 3 now. But the reason why I'm pointing this out is because it's absolutely possible for the right game to make their way in there, like Strive did, and how even Tekken was able to surpass Street Fighter V at one point in time. It is entirely possible, based on the way that this game is played, based on the presentation. The game looks beautiful. Like, they're putting so much love into this game. It is entirely possible for Fatal Fury to try to get into that big 3, or maybe even turn it into a big 4. And that would be great, because again, in the fighting game community, a rising tide lifts all boats. Like, we want as many, like, if we can get to a big 10, like, let's do it, right? But getting a big 4 would be great. And Fatal Fury has the history, has the prestige, and so far has the quality to be able to accomplish that. So, you know, again, I didn't get a chance to play against other people. Am I worried about some of the mechanics or anything like that? Of course, but I'm a fighting game veteran. I worry about every fighting game, right? I worry about every fighting game because I want them to succeed, and I know how difficult it is to be successful in the FGC. So, you know, if the game comes out with bad netcode, it's dead in the water, right? So I really need this game to come out and working, okay? I'm not even big into Fatal Fury. I'm not even the big SNK head like Mike and Kitty are, you know, but just like, this has to succeed for the SNK fans and for the FGC in general, because like I said, the more options, the better. If this comes out and is amazing and becomes a big 4, and then 2XKO comes out and is amazing and ends up turning it into a big 5, like, that's even better. You know, people are always like, oh, I'm mad, why aren't people playing my game instead of Street Fighter or whatever those popular games are? Again, a lot of the people who play those games might get to a point where they're like, I'm kind of disappointed with my game. And then someone tells them, hey, have you heard of this game? Have you heard of Under Night? Have you heard of Grand Blue? Have you heard of... And you'll get people splitting, right? And if an event like EVO gets more eyes for people to watch an event like that, that's not gonna hurt your fighting game, right? Like, that can only help your fighting game, because as like the Say Jam Slam showed, if you can actually enjoy yourself and, you know, things get more fun, and like, you know, if you can show people that learning fighting games is fun, that's more likely to happen if we have 5 big fighting games instead of 3 big fighting games. And more people will find it enjoyable, and they will be able to branch off into other games, et cetera, et cetera. In other words, growth is growth for the FGC, right? You can, don't look at it as this one is taking this chunk of the pie away from you. We are all fighting for scraps in the FGC right now, 100%. But the thing about it is, nobody said the pie has to be a certain size. We are fighting for a very small pie right now, but there's no reason why we can't make the pie this much bigger. And so Fatal Fury can get a big chunk, and Street Fighter can get, and each slice they get is bigger than the original pie, right? There was the whole story about like, oh, you know what? You know, we don't have any large pizzas, so we'll get you 2 mediums. And the guy, and unfortunately they said that to a mathematician, and the mathematician's like, actually, it's not gonna work. Like, that's not how it works. So, you know, anyways, I'm totally veering off context. The whole point is that, like, as the circle grows, like, the amount that you can actually get out of that pie will still be bigger than the small pie that you have, right? So again, like, having Fatal Fury succeed is good for the entire fighting game community. Even if you don't feel like the game is for you, it's important to have it succeed, basically. So I am worried about one thing, though. Obviously, the gameplay's fantastic, and I've had a lot of people tell me, you know, oh my God, the game is so good. I'm so happy. Like, it's so much better than Street Fighter 6 is right now. You know, oh my God, I can't wait to play it. It's gonna be so great. It's gonna be so great. And this is a pure James Chen thing. Stop it. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. And no, this has nothing to do with Street Fighter 6. This is not stop comparing fighting games. I mean, yes, stop comparing fighting games. But the thing about it is, what you are playing during the beta is definitely not gonna be what you're playing after a year. Because if you all remember, Street Fighter 6 went through this exact same sequence. Like, after the beta, dude, people were cracking out for this game. Like, I was like, God, I need more Street Fighter 6 in my life. This feels awful. Like, I just wanted to play more. We loved it. And when the game came out, like, nobody was criticizing it. Everybody was like, my God, this is the best fighting game ever. What a first effort. This is so good. And as time went on, like, people are now like, you know what? I hate Drive Rush. And then I can't stop Drive Rush. And then, wait, why is Drive Rush so plus for free? Wait, what? And like, it just like, once the good shit gets exacerbated, it changes how the game is played. And I feel like that's going to happen for City of the Wolves. Right now, we're happy with its playing because we're all used to it. But at some point in time, heavy DP break as an anti-air is gonna get really annoying. Because if you don't actually just defend that, like, you will lose potentially 50% of your life. Because there's no scaling on it either. So eventually, something like that may rear its ugly head. Or something else, maybe feint cancels are gonna rear their ugly head. I don't know. But the thing is, you don't know either. And so the reason why I don't want people to be like, oh my God, this game is so good, I love this game, is that going into a fighting game with that mentality means you are not ready for the game to evolve. And what I don't want to have happen is you going, I love this game, and then the aspect gets strong, and you're like, I don't like this aspect. This ruins the game. It makes the game that I enjoy and love, that I've been playing incorrectly, not fun. And that's what causes that burnout. That's what causes the Street Fighter 6 situation, where everyone's like, you know, F the Drive Rushes, I'm tired of this game sucks. And now you have a bunch of people like, this game sucks, bring back Street Fighter 5, man, no neutral skips. And you're just like, what? You know? And so I don't want that to happen to Fatal Fury. So, you know, please be excited about the game, but understand that the game will change and such, right? I mean, the rev gauge is super interesting, but it's the same thing as the drive gauge. Instead of emptying, it fills up. Like, it's literally the same thing. However, I will say the dangers of overheating are significantly less if you know what you're doing. It's harder to overheat than it is to burn out. It is less likely so far as we know. Who knows, we'll get to the point where maybe people find better strategies on how to burn people out. Also, it doesn't feel like overheat is as bad. Because the problem in Street Fighter 6 is that burnout is exacerbated by the drive impact, right? Getting stunned against the wall. Because honestly, if there was no drive impact in Street Fighter 6, you might just end up blocking a lot of things, taking a lot of chip damage and stuff. And yeah, it sucks. You can't wake up with DPs or whatever like that. But you could survive. But the drive impact is what makes it like really bad. And so the whole thing about, you know, Street Fighter 6 is they wanted to make burnout very real, and they wanted you to suffer if you burned out. City of the Wolves doesn't feel that way. It feels like they created overheat as a means by which you can't just sit there and EX moves for free all day, and you have to think about it, and it's just an extra element in the game. And even if you do overheat, you can survive. It's just much harder now. And so I don't feel like City of the Wolves wants it to be as like such a just round determining mechanic. And that's good, right? Like, because I mean, a lot of people are bad at managing their burnout, so they might actually be a lot more successful because like a lot of times I'll play online and I just have to wait for the enemy to burn themselves out and then I kill them, right? Like, a lot of people are really bad at managing their burnout, myself included, right? So yeah, obviously blocking, because it acts as a drive gauge as well, of course. I mean, that's exact same thing as Street Fighter, right? So blocking builds up rev gauge and blocking drains drive gauge. So it's very similar mechanic. But again, surviving while you're overheated is not as bad. So again, like it feels like Fatal Fury is Street Fighter 6, but much more toned down. Also, the juggle rules, because they're SNK juggle rules, make a lot more sense than the Street Fighter rules. Because the problem with Street Fighter is they've been using the same juggle rule since Super Turbo. And it is a really, really, like, incoherent system. And it's really not particularly intuitive. Unintuitive is what I'm trying to say, basically. So why does Noah the Prodigy burn himself out so much? The reason is because of his play style, and Luke helps him with that a little bit. This is the gamble play style that I said is in line with Marn and Punko. Marn, Punko, Ceroblast, a bunch of players. Those are the three names that always come to my head who play gamble-style fighting game. And if you're just completely unpredictable and such, it makes it harder to take advantage of a player being burned out. Also, it does help that Luke's Sandblast is a particularly strong, time-killing projectile. So Luke can actually keep people away a little bit better with Sandblast and also go into surprise offense while people are trying to get around Sandblast. So again, Luke is a character that it works for, but Noah is a player that it's so hard to take advantage of when he's burned out because he's one of the hardest people to predict, like, at all. Like, right. So no, the SNK juggle rules make a lot of sense in that it's really just kind of based off of, have you used the move before? So it makes it a little bit easier. There's a little bit more sense to it. So, and burning out early in round 1 won't get you killed because the other guy doesn't have a level 3, right? So he's willing to risk it a little bit more. That's definitely a strategy as well. In any case, the whole point being is that, you know, we all want to have the perfect fighting game, right? We all want like the game that we play and it's fun and we're just like, this is the best game ever. Finally, here's the fighting game for me because I love this and I enjoy this. But I'll tell you right now, there's no such thing as a perfect fighting game and you will never find it. No one will ever be able to make it and you will never find it because the only way you can have the perfect fighting game is if you write it yourself. But then it will only be the perfect fighting game for you. And probably 98% of the world will not see it that way, right? So that's the thing, right? And so I don't want to see the kind of burnout we're seeing in Street Fighter 6 right now happen to Fatal Fury. So that's the only reason why I'm like, temper your expectations and your unbridled joy. Like, have the unbridled joy, but understand that if the game evolves, that you're willing to evolve with it, right? Don't think of it as the mechanic is ruining the game that that you like to play. Keep it in mind that you're playing a game that might be in a way that is not the correct way and not the optimal way to play, but you like the game so much that you're willing to go along this journey with it because you like the game so much, right? One of the hardest things about fighting games, because there are so many fighting games, it's so easy to be like, I hate this, I'm not playing it, I'm done, it ruined the game. It's so easy to just be like, this ruins the game. Like, as much as I hated Drive Impact, I have never, ever once asked for Drive Impact to be removed. I have tried to find ways to potentially balance it, or I just kept blaming myself. Like, every time I complained about Drive Impact, people will respond on Twitter, they'd be like, skill issue, and I'm like, when did I say it wasn't? Look at all my tweets about Drive Impact, and every single one of them is, I can't react. I can't react. Not, this is stupid, nobody can react to this shit. It was, I can't react. This is the worst mechanic ever designed for me. you know, et cetera, et cetera. I always painted it as this sucks for me, not for anybody else. A very, very different thing. So, okay, let's see here. Lord Knight's COTW beta video ended up by throwing shade at people who hate modern fighters because of the over-aggression. He basically said, if you don't play COTW or Uni or an old retro game, then you need to shut the fuck up and admit you just want to whine. Yeah, and again, this is why I am one of the most unique people in the FGC right now. Because I've just been here for too goddamn long, and everybody else is like, oh, well, I've been here. No, motherfucker, you have not been here as long as I have, okay? Dude, yesterday, people were asking me, like, trying to figure out my age, and they were like, so are you older than this guy? Are you older than this guy? Are you older than this guy? And I was older than every single one of them. So yes, I have been around here for a very, very long time, okay? Look, you're not gonna fight, like, the beautiful thing about fighting games is that there's a different fighting game for everybody. And you know, I've argued this about Street Fighter 6. Everyone's like, Drive Rush is stupid, like, it's killing the neutral, like, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you hate it because it's making the fighting game play in a way that you don't want it to play. You know, if people are like, well, clearly DJ's Drive Rush is so broken, I was like, then play DJ. Play DJ and see how it works, right? Maybe you should Drive Rush more. I know when I tried Jury Online, I Drive Rush all day and I got my ass whooped. So it's not just that simple, right? So like, you know, when you see someone like Boost or somebody like that, like taking advantage of what the game is, they don't have the history of fighting games to make them think it should be like, ask somebody who started with Street Fighter 6 and that's their first fighting game, right? Like, does it feel wrong to Drive Rush? Like, unless they're playing like Manon, then yeah, absolutely they can complain about Drive Rushes because Manon's Drive Rush is ass, you know? And so like you get tired of other characters' Drive Rushes, but like, you know, if you're coming into the game, like, this is how it should play. I hate Drive Rush because, like, that just might mean, like, you aren't playing the game right. I mean, look how Boost beat Punk in that one tournament. Punk is so good that he checks Drive Rushes all the goddamn time. And so no, Drive Rush is not working at the highest levels because players like Punk can blow it up. Then you have Boost, who I think he came from Smash or Mortal Kombat or something. Someone told me that he came from something else, but this is like his first Street Fighter. And so what did he do to Punk? He Drive Rushed into Super 3, level 3, and then he Drive Rushed into EXDP, into ODDP, and he hit Punk both times. Because he was like, well, I'll take advantage of what Punk does. And people watching that video were like, bruh, this is the way people play. No, Boost played perfect. Like, that was so smart of him to do that. Because, see, and this is the mind game that got created by the Drive Rush mechanic, right? Drive Rush, but you fight against someone who checks them really well, so now he Drive Rushes into ODDP, and it works, and people are like, you're a nut, but like, no, that's how you counter the people who counter the Drive Rushes. And so like, is the Drive Rush ruining the game, or is it that you just haven't accepted what the Drive Rush does to the game, right? And it's just like, that's the whole thing about fighting games, is that like, people try too hard to make the fighting game into what they want it to be, as opposed to playing the fighting game that it is. The hardest part about that is that we have too many options now, so it's easy to jump around and try to find a game that's just for you. Also, we live in a patch culture, right? God, when we played fighting games back in the day, like, shit would be broken and we'd be like, whatever. Like, people run tournaments for X-Men versus Street Fighter, and this is like my good friend Dogface, okay? He runs tournaments for X-Men versus Street Fighter. He's absolutely insane because that game is broken as crap, right? Like, but you know what? Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. People like it and it's fun. And like, I always tell the wobble story, right? Like, He played Smash Melee. Everyone hated the Ice Climber Infinite. He goes to Evo, and suddenly you're in a culture where people play MVC2 and we love infinites and we don't ban infinites. And so he starts playing and wobbling people and everyone kept cheering. And every time he missed the wobble, people go, oh, like it totally changed for him. And now he was able to get second place because he was so spurred on by suddenly this different audience that thought completely different, right? Again, what you find is broken isn't necessarily broken. It's just not what you want. And if people can play fighting games with that mentality, we would stop being so angry at other fighting games. And we would also be able to evolve with fighting games a lot more. And so that's what I'm worried about. Sorry, this went on a complete tangent, but that is what I'm worried about most when I hear people say, oh my God, this, City of the Wolves is exactly what I want. This is perfect. This is the great, like, this is so much better than Street Fighter, Tekken, Guilty Gear, whatever you say, right? This is why I get frustrated when Exerd players yell at Strive, why 5 players yelling at 6 and 4 players yelling at 5 and whatever. Like, it's just like, as I've always said, a good fighting game never grows old. If you like a certain fighting game and you don't like the modern fighting, just keep playing the old fighting games. Oh, but there's no community. Then just be like Pat and Irene and make your own community. Like, create the game, like, make the community, dude. Like, seriously. Oh, I mean, Wobot, I've said already, like, it's kind of crazy that the fortress archetype doesn't exist in fighting games anymore. So the closest thing we have is zoners, but the fortress archetype of like E Honda from Super Turbo doesn't exist in fighting games anymore. We have lost a complete archetype of character. And it's kind of sad. It's a little unfortunate, you know, but there's a lot of archetypes that people got mad at. Grapplers is the next one, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a fighting game comes out and just removes grapplers. Right now, most of them seem to be putting grapplers in on purpose, but because of tradition. But I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, there weren't very much grapplers. So a fortress character is just a character whose defense is really strong, but offense is really poor. So basically, if they are winning, they can actually keep you out really well, and it's really annoying to get in on them. But if you actually can get in on them one time, you don't have to kill them. If you just get a life lead, now their life sucks. So Honda, as a fortress character, killed a third of the cast in Super Turbo because they couldn't get in, but died to a third of the cast because projectiles ruin fortress characters, right? So, you know, it's a weird archetype and it's hard to balance. So I understand why fortress characters have disappeared, but that's essentially what a fortress character is that great defense, shit offense. Basically the opposite of the rushdown character, right? The character who's fast and great mix-ups, but then you knock them down and they have no way to defend themselves, or they have less health, you know, kind of situation, right? It's literally the exact opposite of them. So if you can accept rushdown characters, you know, having great offense but shit defense, like maybe we can bring back a shit offense, great defense archetype, but they are very hard to balance. They are very, very, very hard to balance. Where is Nathan? I don't know. Usually they'd be up here and be hungry already. I wonder if I can fake them out. Hang on a second. Let me do something really quick. I'm going to try to fake them out. Let me do something. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. And, you know, the day of this podcast graced your ears with the most important day of your life. But for me... No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one.
It was Tuesday.
Let's see, because every time I end the stream, they just magically show up and like want food. It's kind of crazy. And Guile isn't a fortress character. He's a zoner. He's more of a zoner because he has a projectile. Fortress characters can't have a projectile, essentially. Because then that basically makes them a zoner. So the difference between a zoner and a fortress character is that zoners make you react to them and take advantage of your bad reactions or predictable reactions. Fortress characters just are like, you can't break me. You can't break me, right? So Guile is Sonic Boom, and you're like, well, crap. What do I do now? Oh, man. It's true, it is Saturday for most people at this point. Oh, man. Anyways, I said I was going to keep this short, and I lied again, obviously, because I just don't know what the hell I'm doing. Oh. And since what I plan to do tomorrow is talk about, Street Fighter, Capcom Cup, I want to go over all the players in Capcom Cup. Maybe I'll save the Street Fighter League talk for tomorrow. Maybe I'll just save Capcom Cup talk all for tomorrow. And I can just end it here. Yeah, and honestly, the reason why I got so into MKX was because one of the variations of Ferritor was just Tor. And they made him a real grappler. Like, most of the time, throws can't hit crouching people. And that's why there was never really any grapplers in Mortal Kombat. But then they made Tor, without Farah, so he was like, he was in the lackey, that was called the variation, the lackey variation or something like that. And so I played lackey Tor, and it was definitely not his strongest variation. So eventually I stopped, but so, oh, thank you, Salt. Thank you, Salt, for that. So glad you've enjoyed it here. But again, yeah, so, I mean, I didn't even really talk about the characters in City of the Wolves or anything like that, but again, I only just kind of briefly touched on all of them except for Vox, because Vox literally I cannot care less about Vox. And on the Synchronized show, someone mentioned that Vox reminds me of Necalli. And I was like, yes, because I couldn't care less about Necalli either. Like, Necalli was like Ed in Street Fighter V. Like, they actually made Ed a little bit cooler in 6, so I think Ed is cool. I could never care about Oro until Street Fighter V. I just have this thing that if a character just doesn't hit me right aesthetically, like, I couldn't give two shits about the character. So, yes. Oh, it's absolutely true, Winter Soldier. I talked about it early. There will be a second beta for City of the Wolves, and please, I hope the netcode is fixed. I hope they know what the issue is, and if they don't, go and find an expert and pay them lots of money to come in and fix the issue. Oh, he was clearly the best character, according to everybody, but again, I just couldn't give two shits about him. Like, I saw him and I was like, there's nothing about this character that appeals to me. So I'm done. Just like Ingrid, right? I have an unnatural hate for Ingrid, in the Street Fighter world, right? Like, if Ingrid never shows up in an official Street Fighter game, it'll be too soon, okay? Like, I hope that character never, ever shows up. And because I said that, she probably will show up in Street Fighter 6 at some point, and I'm just gonna have to hold that, but I really don't like her at all. I really don't like Ingrid at all. Again, the reason why I hate her, because what is she? Like, alien, weird, Lolita, freaking, like what? Like, I've generally disliked magic aura characters in Street Fighter, not in fighting games, in Street Fighter. So again, when Rose first showed up, I was like, why is she dressed like that? This character's dumb. I hated Rose when she first came out. I've eventually grew on her a little bit because they tied her story to Shadowloo and everything. And I know Ingrid is supposed to be like some crazy, like, uber powerful, like, thing that, like, she has control over Psycho, Satsui no Hado, whatever, soul power. But, like, her design makes that even more annoying. Like, even more annoying. I'm just like, what the hell is this character, dude? Like, I really just, I mean, again, I am a leg dude, Forrest. I am a leg guy. And I still hated Rose because why are you fighting in high heels? Like, why are you fighting in high heels? Like, okay, Kyoko in rival schools fights in high heels, but she's the school nurse and she's just dressed like a school nurse. So whatever. But like Rose, what the hell is this, right? So I've never been a fan of, you know, Necro and 12. I don't like this because it's like once you start getting into that land of weird, it disinterests me. That's why I genuinely liked Armika. Because she was, and people didn't know it. They were just like, what is this, right? But like, people didn't know about like Japanese wrestling at the time. So I thought Armika was really cool because she represented a real fighting style. And I liked that. That's why I loved Dudley, because he's the best boxer in all of Street Fighter history, right? So, you know, I like a lot of that stuff. And that's the other thing too, Ayanami, is that I have no JoJo's knowledge. So I didn't know Rose was based on Lisa. I didn't know any of that. So I didn't have that frame of reference, you know? So I did like Street Fighter 4 Dudley. I thought he was awesome. And I loved watching Smug and Marn play that character, dude. It was like some of the most entertaining matches ever. I loved it. So, but yeah, I just in general don't like magic characters. So, you know, when I say like I don't like Vox, like I don't like Vox, I also really hated Luong in King of Fighters 15. That one, I hated that character so much because I just felt like she was just too goddamn obvious as a character, and I hated her. So like, it's not just me being like, I hate SNK. Like there are plenty of Capcom characters that I just don't like. So, you know. Oh, Viola? But I mean, everybody hated Viola, right? Because she was broken top tier for a while, right? That's who Tokido played and actually like ended up winning, or like one of the Evo East or something. Like he like won a Soul Calibur tournament at Evo one year because he just abused what was broken about her and killed everybody. I think Iori's cool. Like, I even like Terry Bogard, you know? I think Terry Bogard's kind of a neat character. I like his personality and stuff, you know? So, like, again, I like a lot of characters in the, in the SNK unit. Like, I love Kenso. Like, I loved him because, one, he was Chinese, but then also, you know, he's kind of like a simp, right? Like for Athena, and you know, I can kind of relate to that, right? Talk to high school and college James, right? Like, so I like to kill. And you know what? He also likes to eat bao, and bao is delicious, okay? So like, I really liked Kenso. I liked Kenso. Oh man. In any case, yeah, so I got to try a lot of the characters. Unfortunately, for the COTW beta, a lot of characters were fireball uppercut kind of characters, right? Like, I felt like it was only Kine and Janae, or Jenny, I guess we can call her, that didn't have that kind of fireball uppercut. Like, Kine maybe, but, you know, because he was a flash kick, it was a little different. I felt like those were the two characters that were the most unique. I do hope that it changes a little bit. Preacha as well, because she didn't rely on projectiles as much, but she was really just like in your face, punchy. And I really wanted to like Preacha, but I was expecting a different kind of gameplay, and I didn't really like her personality as much as, I mean, I've never really liked like the kind of like Yuffie, selfie, kind of overexcited character trope that Japan loves so much. And so, like, that kind of, like, made me a little sad about Preacha, but I might still try her. But again, I'm just waiting for T-Zoc. I want my goddamn T-Zoc, okay? I want my grappler. And I'm glad he wasn't in the beta, because I would have loved him in the beta, and he would have gotten nerfed, and I would have been really, really sad. And so now I have no expectations. I just take T-Zoc as he is, and I will enjoy T-Zoc when City of the Wolves comes out. So You like all the characters James hates. And that's fine, Nico. That's absolutely justified. Again, I know I have my tastes, but you know, that's just how it goes. So, and again, like I hate Luong because I think she's obvious, but that doesn't mean I hate attractive girls in fighting games. I play Cammy for Christ's sakes, right? Like I really like Maki. I played Lucia. And then Kyoko is like my fighting game waifu because you want to talk leggy character? That's Kyoko, okay? Like I said, I'm a leg person, and that's like Kyoko. Like that's all she is. Like she's like just basically a moving pair of legs. So like trust me, like I can get horny over fighting game characters, okay? It has nothing to do with that. But it's just when it's someone like Luong and it's just so in your face and you're just like, ugh, it's so uninteresting. Manon is really cool. I don't know if I necessarily like find her like attractive in that sense. She's really pretty and stuff, and I love the fact that they made her very distinctly unique. Like finally we have a character in a fighting game who is beautiful and attractive and doesn't have the same face as every other fighting game character on the planet. Because seriously, like, and again, not talking shade to any of the fighting game artists out there because I love all of them, but every time you draw all your women in fighting games, they have the same goddamn face. Like if you took the face and cut it out and photoshopped it and just put all the faces like in one picture and go like name the character, you're done. You can't do it. It's super impossible. So I love the fact that, Jury, yeah, no, I'm not a feet person. I'm not a feet person because the problem with foot fetish is it makes me think of the foot binding era in China, and that shit pisses me off and grosses me out. So like I am super, super anti foot fetish. Legs, let's go. Feet, I'm done. But that's just me. That's my association. If you like feet, if you're a feet person, I don't get it at all. But whatever, you do you, right? But that's just not for me. Oh, man. But see, even Marisa, right, yeah, okay, no, that's what you're actually saying, Petty. Yeah, even Manon and Marisa have different body types than all of the women, and it's great. I mean, me and Olaf make fun of the is it Nina? Is it Zero Suit Samus? Is it Lydia from Tekken? Is it, like, Cammy? Is it, like, seriously, like, you take all those characters and put them in the same clothes, they all look exactly the same, right? Like, you're just like, what the hell? Like, what? And it's annoying, so yeah. Shermie has legs, for sure, but she was always weird. The hair threw me off. The hair always threw me off, so. So, yeah, well, I mean, in Tekken 8, it's like worse than ever before. I don't know what happened, but in Tekken 8, every female character in that game not only has the exact same face, but they also have so much Botox injected that their faces can't move. Like, you have all the male characters like, ugh, ugh, and like all the women characters like, and like that's about it. Like that's the best you get, right? So it's just like, it is kind of frustrating in a way, but that is one of the reasons why I love Marisa and Manon so much, because they really went out of their way to make, like, and it wasn't like they made these characters, like, one of the things that Olaf was scared of is that, they could make fun of Marisa, right? Like, it's so easy to take Marisa and just be like, oh, she's the butch lesbian, and oh, she's like, they could have did that, but they didn't. And in fact, they made her like that, she really is about love and romance. And like that's the thing that drives her in a lot of ways. And they never play her off as unattractive. Like they treat her like, because she's she's a gorgeous queen, like she should be. And so like, it was so refreshing to see that. It was so refreshing. I was so so happy about that. So yeah, I mean, it's poly bi, I think is what it is. Yeah, but I mean, like, again, they didn't paint her as like weird, awkward, like everybody's like, what's wrong with this person kind of character, right? Like, they didn't do that. So it was just, I was so appreciative of what they did with Marisa in Street Fighter 6. Well, Marisa wants to marry everybody, keep in mind. So, you know, she wants to marry everybody. So, yeah. So, again, like, I was really appreciative of that. So, I don't even know how I got on this topic. What the hell? What? Oh, I was just talking about legs or so. Oh, I was talking about characters I hated and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyways, whatever. Anyways, yeah, we're just rolling with the vibes, seriously. So I mean, it's fun. I like doing this. I like talking about whatever the conversation takes us to, but I will not do the US finals discussion here because I don't really have to say too much on it, so I'll just save it. Either today, maybe Sunday, or if anything, at worst, Monday. I will definitely do a pre-Capcom Cup stream like I did last year where I talk about all the players. I just want to give myself enough time to research them all and to give them all, you know, I don't want to be like, I don't know who this guy is. All right, next, you know, like I want to make sure I give everybody their fair share because again, you know, to me, the players are the most important part of the FGC, right? And the second most important part are the viewers. Honestly, like for me, it's like players and viewers. Like that's the people that I think are super important. And so I want to make sure I give everybody their fair share and talk about them as much as I can. So in any case, thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for coming on a Friday of all times to hang out for It Was Tuesday. As I remind people that, of course, I will be doing a lot of changes here soon. The Ultra Chen channels that this is streaming on will be going away pretty soon, while the Twitch one will literally be hibernating, and so you will have to actually go to the Jay Chenzor channel. On the YouTube channel, I'm just renaming it into Jay Chenzor, so everything you have will be there by default. Also, please check out the Discord that I have created now. If you did not hear me earlier, this is a Discord that I am creating to try to be like one of the most social friendly places possible. I am trying to promote an environment where you can meet strangers, play fighting games, have a good time, have people watch you play fighting games. There are voice channels that you can literally stream from, and then people can jump in your channel and just hang out and watch, chat with you, or encourage you, like, nice. Like, dude, like, do you know how much it helps? And again, like, a lot of this was inspired by Sajam Slam, right? Like, when you're playing fighting games and you win a round, and so, like, a lot of times you do a round and you're like, I wish someone was here to see that. Like, I just pulled off the greatest shit ever. But like, now we can try to get people watching you, and when you do some shit, like, people will be like, nice, great job, oh, good shit, yo, that was sick, you know? And dude, that makes learning fighting games and playing fighting games infinitely more enjoyable. So much more enjoyable. So I'm trying to create this environment where people hang out, watch fighting games more often, and can very easily find people to play against by separating the matchmaking into beginner, intermediate, and expert, which I don't see a lot of other Discords do. So I have channels specifically for that. You basically go into the to the README, you pick your roles, and then that will notify you for certain games. So you, like, I play Mortal Kombat. You click on the Mortal Kombat emoji. You're now there. Someone in the channel tags Mortal Kombat. That's how you'll get notified, and so you can actually jump there. So that way you don't have to dig through a minefield of, like, people. Hey, I'm looking for Tekken people, and you don't have to do at everyone or at here, you know, to hopefully have people find it, you know. So this way, it's only the games that you play that will alert you in the matchmaking channels. And like I said, that way you could be an expert in Street Fighter 6, but a newbie in Guilty Gear Strive. You can go to the beginners channel and ask for Strive matches, but then still jump to the Street Fighter 6 channel and ask for experts, right? So, you know, I'm trying to do a lot of stuff. This is all very experimental. I have no idea if any of this is going to work or pan out, especially if this does take off and a lot of people end up joining the server. There is a potential for a lot of this to fall apart under its own weight. But that's a good problem to have, and I will keep working on it, and I will keep trying to make sure that this Discord is a friendly place. Again, I have zero tolerance here for hate speech. And no, I'm not trying to, trample over your free speech. There are plenty of Discords out there where you can say whatever the fuck you want. But on my Discord, we will not tolerate any form of hate speech. And in fact, there's a Salt channel there, so you can go there and yell if you are frustrated. But even if you fight against somebody else and you get really mad at the way they play or something like that, let's be good enough to encourage an environment in which you can talk to the person that just beat your ass and just be like, what am I doing wrong? What made me so easy to beat? And don't be afraid to ask those questions. It's embarrassing, but don't be afraid to ask those questions. And I encourage everybody that if you do beat somebody down and they're like, hey, and someone asks you like, hey, can you help me? What was I doing wrong? Any advice? Try your best, because the thing about it is the environment of ranked environment is you don't want anybody to know anything because you want to beat them. What I want to do is build a community here where we will teach each other how to beat us so that we can all be stronger, right? If you're like, hey, you keep falling for this, stop falling for this, and the guy's like, oh, and then you play again and they stop falling for it and it becomes harder for you to win, that is growth. That is how you get better. Winning a lot because the opponent doesn't know why they're losing is not growth, right? So these are the kind of things I'm trying to encourage in the Chenzor Dynasty Discord. So check that out if you can. Again, I will have a permanent link very, very soon. I'll try to put it in the descriptions of most of my videos in the future and stuff like that. And again, I am streaming this also on YouTube. Hope you guys are happy about that. If you do prefer listening to the whole stream as one giant podcast-ish kind of thing, you can go to my channel, click live, and then you'll see the archive there now. So even if we do split this into a bunch of little episodes, even if the live is just this, is basically the same, you can still do that if you want at any point in time. So there you go. Thank you guys for watching. And again, thank you for hanging out with me on a Friday. Like I said, I might stream again later on in the next few days before Capcom Cup to talk to you about all the players and talk about the pools, etc., etc. So keep an eye on my Twitter at jchenzor for that to come up. And so hopefully I'll be able to get to do that pretty soon. But thank you for coming out and hanging out on a Friday, for it was Tuesday, even though this isn't Tuesday. But again, the reason why you're here, the reason why you're enjoying this is because it doesn't matter what day it's on. This is the most important podcast that's ever graced your life. Oh, I just blew that one. This is the most important podcast that has ever graced your ears. But for me, what the heck? What happened to my? Oh, dude. Oh, what happened here? What is happening? Okay, but for me,
It was Tuesday.
oh man, I am on Blue Sky, JNV. I am on Blue Sky, so you can find me there. No problem, no problem. I don't post on there as much because it's just hard keeping track of two social media websites, but I do try to. Every once in a while, I show up on Blue Sky, and then there's like a post blitz, and then I might disappear for a couple days or something like that. So the Capcom Cup predictions might be tomorrow, might be Sunday, might be Monday. I'm not sure. So Gibby, the 10-0 thing is the homebrew, which we are restreaming the majority of Capcom Cup. We won't be restreaming any of the SFL stuff, but just the Capcom Cup stuff that we will be restreaming from the 10-0 studios. So yeah. And if you add me on Blue Sky, I jump to Blue Sky a lot, and it shows me the notifications on my app. So if you do want to ask me questions and stuff like that, just add me on Blue Sky. I will definitely get to you at some point. So, and thank you everybody on YouTube for watching. Hope you really liked having this on YouTube. And hopefully, like I said, this should be a regular thing from now on. So I will look forward to that. And that'll be all for me. Take care, guys. Oh, wait, you know what? I don't have a lot of viewers here because it is Friday and all that stuff like that. I'm not going to bother rating people because I just want to feed cats and go to sleep. Not go to sleep, but get food, go eat. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one and take care. Peace out. And see you guys next time.